Welcome to the Dirt Life Show with your host, George Hamill.
What is up, guys? Welcome to episode 118 of the Dirt Life Show. We are at Weller Racing in Phoenix, Arizona, Chandler, Arizona, to be specific, with our guests of tonight. I want to do a proper introduction, though. Side-by-side racing has grown to be massive. It's pretty cool, the trend that it's on, up and up, and everybody keeps joining, and all of these, vehicles keep coming out. But back in the day, man, there wasn't those options. And Corry and Jason Weller, who are our guests tonight, are pioneers of the off-road industry. They were able to start with the Yamaha Rhinos, create the SR1 class, which really pioneered the racing of side-by-sides, and have gone all the way through creating their company, racing quads, doing certain things together, and just really enjoying the dirt life as a couple. And now they're obviously at the top of their game with racing and doing all that stuff. It's really cool to see the progression and where they came from. So we're going to really dive deep into it. So welcome, Corry and Jason Weller.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Awesome.
Thanks for having us at your guys' place. Like I said, we're at Weller Racing. We can just go to a couple camera angles that we're going to have a little bit more tonight. So you can see some of the vehicles that they have here. We got an SR1 in the background, and we also have Corry's short course car right here. Yeah. Pretty cool. And then in the back over here, we can see all kinds of fun stuff. You got, what is that, a King of the Hammers pre-runner over there?
Yeah,
that's my
Corry's
Dune car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my plate car.
Dune car. You got a nice Haas machine over there that we'll talk a little bit more about when we talk about the business stuff that you guys have going on. But there's a lot of cool projects and a lot of fun stuff that happens here that progresses the UTV industry as a whole. So I'm excited to get into it. And so please, guys, join us and ask as many questions as you want. Looks like there's a bunch of questions already coming in. So thank you guys very much for submitting all those questions and hanging out with us. We can answer as many of them as possible, so keep them coming. If we don't get to it, just ask the same question again, and we can look it over. So it looks like Defiance Off-Road said, hey, Corry and Jason, best of the best right there. Yeah, I think we're going to talk a lot about that stuff.
Thanks.
MPH Junkie says, hey, guys. So, excuse me, you can join us anytime on the Dirt Life Show at thedirtlifeshow.com. And hang out with us. We got sponsor deals over there. You can always take a look at any of our sponsors. They have their own websites, like Wheel Pros has wheelmerch.com, and you can go over there, buy t-shirts for KMC Wheels and EFX Tires. Thank you very much to those guys for sponsoring the show. Thank you to the guys over at Motul. They make fantastic lubricants, so please go and check those guys out and support them. You can get Motul at any of your local cycle gears. There's tons of them over there, and man, they come out with I think it's called 300V, the racing oil. It is fantastic, man. We run it in all the cars now, and yeah, please go support those guys too. Thank you guys at Shock Therapy. You can use the code DIRTLIFE and pick up some limit straps for your desert racing, steering rack, bump steer delete kits. They got all kinds of fun stuff over there, and you can also obviously tell them that Dirt Life sent you when you call them to get a suspension revalve or whatever you got going on with your vehicle. Tell them that Dirt Life sent you and call the guys over at Shock Therapy. Thank you guys over at Evolution Power Sports. Man, they have some pretty cool stuff. They have a code shooter device that you can use your phone to update your tune on your vehicle. It's pretty cool, man. The technology is coming out. And get an exhaust, too, to match that tune. Thank you guys over at Zollinger Racing Products. You can use the code TheDirtLife at ZollingerRacingProducts.com. Get yourself some tie rods and some radius rods to match up with that suspension kit that you got from Shock Therapy or a steering rack. Thank you guys over at Cryo Heat, making awesome products. The Pro Mod transmission is crazy, the differentials that they're making. And thank you guys at Solder Weld. You can use the code DIRTLIFE at solderweld.com and get yourself an off-road repair kit. Looks like Max Russ 08. Let's see here. Will you guys make a rear trailing arm brace for the X3? Sounds like the X3 has a bad stock trailing arm, or what?
Probably the lower trailing arm is probably what he's talking about. I know, like our Hammers car, we'll take and we'll sleeve it and put a couple gussets on it and weld it up. That's pretty much what we do there to beef that up, but we don't have like a bolt-on solution for that.
Yeah, well, they make those. What is it called again? I forgot what the material is. That UHM or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
UHMV or something.
Like factory UTV or something.
Yeah, like those ones, right? Isn't that popular at King of the Hammers?
That would be like the skid plate. Yeah.
Oh, okay. They don't make stuff that guards the trailing arms like that.
They do. Yeah, you can pretty much get anything made you want.
Defiance Off-Road says best KOH race recap ever. Corey, did you do a race recap?
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, look at producer guy over here. Thank you for the sound effects, Jeff. We really appreciate it.
I did I did a really long, actually it turned out really long recap of it. But it was really fun. I used to write a lot of articles and I haven't written anything in so long. I just kind of got all carried away with it. But it was so fresh. I just wanted to get it out because it was something I'd never done, and I was still so excited about it. So thank you. I'm glad you liked it.
That's
glad you
cool.
read it all.
I think a lot of people miss doing that stuff too.
Yeah.
They just do like a little video recap, and they miss doing all of the detail work like what you just did.
Well, I wasn't even sure, honestly, if anybody has the attention span to read all of it, but apparently a lot of people did. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's super cool. All right, we're getting some comments on Facebook and YouTube too. How about the Max that Kyle Anderson raced at KOH? So for people that are watching the show that don't know Kyle is one of your guys' team members or employees at the same time, and he used the Yamaha RMAX, I think it was.
RMAX, yep.
How'd that go?
He did really good. That vehicle, we didn't have a lot of time with it and still kind of learning it, but it was very capable, and he wanted to run it, and we put some stuff together. And
Kyle has giant balls
to be able to do that.
to put that thing where he put it. Yes, I mean, to put it bluntly, it's crazy what him and Chris, his co-driver, did with that machine. It was really fun to watch.
What motors does those have in them?
It's a twin-cylinder 1000cc.
Oh, okay, cool.
Belt drive, yeah.
Right on. Yeah, it looks so cool to see that he was doing that, man. Like hardly anybody does it. Like Corey said, the balls it takes to do it.
I think it was just kind of like a fun thing at first, and then it kind of turned into doing it, and he did it, and he had fun, lots of testing and pre-running, and he was wide open all the time. Every time I saw him, he was wide open.
Just fully paid. I guess you got to kind of have to be, right, to keep up. So we're going to get into a bunch of funny stories and have a whole bunch of fun tonight. So let me get a little bit of the show out of the way. Please share the show. When you guys log on live, there should be a button that says share it, so you guys can send it out to all your buddies, and they can ask questions too. But thank you very much for always asking us questions in the direct messages and everything like that too. We actually have a special guest that's going to call in, Phil Blurton, your Can-Am teammate. He just won the Laughlin Shock Therapy UTV Legends in Laughlin Best in the Desert race, I think is how they pronounced it. But
nice job.
Yeah, so he just won. Dude, the dude
is
on
2 for 2 right now?
I don't know. He's probably 19 for 19 for all we know. He's just out there just crushing.
Yeah, he is. He's got it nailed.
He does good at hammers too.
Yep.
Yeah, he was bummed at hammers this year, but
good.
Yeah, he still did good.
Yeah.
And then so we're going to also have Lee Perfect from the Gas Series is going to call in around 5:45, and then Dallas Nord, one of your racers that is sponsored by Weller Racing, a really good guy. He's going to call in after the commercial break tonight, so it'll be fun to talk with him as well. So like I said, please share the show, get as many people watching so we can support the Wellers and their racing and everything that we're going to be talking about tonight. I noticed that you got a surprise
The white elephant in the room.
So for the people that are just listening as a podcast and not watching the video, Corry,
it's the appropriate prop.
Yeah.
Let's see the insides here. There you go.
Corry is
It's a
very
well-made sandwich.
very well known, and we actually had a user submitted question or a fan submitted question that said, "Who makes a better sandwich, Corry or Jason?"
Definitely Corey, for sure.
For sure, but I should have started making them terrible to begin with, so that he didn't want any more. That's where I failed.
It's like a heroin addiction,
really
but it's a sandwich
sandwiches.
addiction.
Yeah.
I just should have laid the bar really low, and I screwed that up.
She makes really good sandwiches, but it's rare for her to make a sandwich. So I think that's what.
That's what. So we have a producer in the studio or in the shop tonight, studio shop, whatever you want to call it. Jeff Angel, thank you very much for all of the sound effects. We really appreciate it. This show is going to be really good with that. But yeah, so I think we should have a sandwich making competition one of these days at the races. But what would be the prize? The other person has to make sandwiches for the next 2 weeks. Corey's
just going to get it.
That's so not a prize. Sure. No, yeah. I can sandbag that.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, I'll totally sandbag that.
I just have no interest in doing it.
You just want to eat the sandwich?
So Let me know when it's ready.
We do have some more user or fan submitted questions as well, but Phil Blurton's going to join us around 5:15, so just a couple of minutes here. But what I wanted to ask before we start talking to Phil was, how did this even come about? Like, I know that, well, I have a little bit of understanding. You guys started racing four-wheelers or quads, right?
Yep.
And that was back before you guys met, or when did you guys meet?
That's how we met, actually. Yeah, back in 2001.
Like at the racetrack kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, my second race ever and his second race ever. Like
Yep.
we were really new to racing, and we happened to just meet at the same time. This all
The
started.
couple that does our stickers, our graphics for like our numbers on our cars, BRM Off-Road, Missy and Jeff, they're the ones that introduced us.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, that's crazy. Do you remember where it was at? Like what
Yeah.
track?
Verde
Yeah,
Valley.
Verde Valley.
Really?
Yep.
Lee Perfect, I can see that you're requesting to join, but we got to wait a little bit, buddy. You're on at 5:40 Pacific time, so just hang out. Yeah, soon. We're going to talk about the gas series. He's got some cool stuff happening with that, too. So, yeah, I mean, like meeting at the track, you guys pretty much have the same expectations because you know you're going to keep racing, right? That's kind of a cool way to meet.
Well, I think I just started racing. It was my second race, like she said, her second race, so we were just new at it. You know, we were lots of like slapping our heads on the handlebars and total rookies, you know, but we were just out there having fun, checking it out. But you get that addiction of jumping, you know, and dirt.
Yeah. The addiction that most of these people that are in the audience come
Plus,
to.
as quad racers, we all had to kind of stick together, you know, because we're the redheaded stepchildren of
Yeah.
motocross.
Right.
You know, the bikes hate it when the
Where-
quads wreck
We
their
were liked
track.
by the bikes.
Yeah, so you guys raced on the motocross track
Yes.
then?
Yep, same tracks that all the dirt bikes did.
And that was the one in Verde Valley. I remember that track.
That track is
All over, but that's where we met, yeah.
yeah, we met there.
But
Yeah,
there was like Speed World and
that was the most technical track. Like I was so scared that day. Like I remember just like all the jumps seemed so peaky.
Yeah.
And I was just like my legs were shaking the whole time. I mean, I still did it, but I was just like terrified. The
Really?
whole day, yeah. It was a lot to take in. I didn't even really know how to ride. Like,
How old were you? Or like what was the quad that you guys were racing? Like did you guys both have the
So I was on a Raptor 660 and she was on a 400DX.
yeah, us bone stock 400.
But
yeah.
both of those are like pretty big to handle on a motocross track.
Yeah.
It was the race quad. Well, his was a lot
Oh,
of
you had
people
yours
weren't-
all decked out?
No, it's just big.
No, not at that time.
The
It was pretty
Raptor
stock,
660, like that's a big machine to have at the motocross track. The Honda 400EX was like the racer at the time.
Yeah, I
But
remember
we,
that.
but we didn't know. We just
I-
got some quads, and then my buddy raced dirt bikes, and he's like, "Hey, come out there and check it out. You know, bring your quad." And he took a few turns of that, and I finally went out there and checked it out. You know, so
Did you guys like the two-wheel stuff or not really?
I'd never been on a motorcycle.
At all?
Mm-mm.
So did you have a hard time like learning how to do the clutch and all that stuff or
No, because my dad taught me how to drive stick shifts when I was like 10.
Oh, so you were dialed.
Yeah, as far as that all went, it was just anything. I didn't have anything with a motor in it other than a car, you know, my whole life. So that was like my first motorized anything. So that whole thing took a little getting used to.
I honestly think this is such a cool story, and like it really resonates a lot with our audience too, and me as well. But we get so many people asking per week, per day, like, how do we get into racing? You
Race
guys
that
just
can
went,
afford.
yeah,
You
you
just did it.
just go and do it, right?
I didn't even
yeah.
have Nerf bars.
I
I had bald.
mean, it
Dude.
was pretty rough when we started. I mean, for sure.
Corey's out there trying to break ankles, dude.
Talk about trial and error. Like we've been through the trial and error.
How many times did I run over my own foot?
Oh my God, that's
I
so
think on
dangerous.
like one of our first dates at Sycamore, you ran over your foot.
I did it at the motocross track several times before I finally got enough money to get Nerf bars.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's so dangerous. We had a couple questions come in actually. Let's see here. Oh, what up, Jason and Corey? And then Corey, are you doing KOH next year? So I'm assuming that means are you going to drive next year? Because you did it this year, but in the passenger seat.
I would love to do it again as a co-driver. I'm actually so excited already. I'm like, it's so long still. Like pretty much like as soon as we got out, I was ready to go again. I had a
Really?
blast. Surprisingly, I had a blast. Yeah.
She did really
Yeah.
good. I was blown
It-
away
it was
how
really-
good she did.
It was really fun. And it was over. So once it's over, you get that whole adrenaline thing. You're like,
Oh,
we're
that's
alive.
right.
We're
So
done.
this was your first time on the
Yeah.
course at KOH.
Yes, because
Yeah.
I've only gone to support like in the pits.
Yeah.
Got it.
But I don't co-drive.
Yeah,
No.
you like having the steering wheel, right?
We both have X3s at the dunes. We both race
We have
separate
one
cars.
of every. We each
Yeah.
have one of like we don't ever ride together.
Yeah.
However, like driving the toter and like street cars, like you don't mind.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. But
Just racing.
I would love to do it again next year. In the driver's seat, not so much. I think Jason's great at the rocks. I prefer short course and jumping and all that good stuff. And I don't know that I particularly want to drive at KOH just yet. I don't know if that's really on my radar. I think that I'm just going to take it one step at a time.
I kind of feel the same way, but the guy who's going to join us right now, he would say different because he's actually done very well at KOH and done well in the desert too. So we're going to try to see if we can get Phil Blurton on here and see how he did over the past weekend, man, at Laughlin. It should be pretty good. What's up, Phil? How are you, bud?
What's up, buddy?
How's it going?
Hey.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, congratulations first off, man. Everybody keeps saying Phil Blurton is on a roll, but honestly, man, you've been putting in the work and the results are coming too. So you just won I don't know what the full name of it is, but the UTV Legends race by Shock Therapy in Laughlin, Nevada, Best in the Desert.
Yep, for sure. Hammers was a little disappointing for us, so we wanted to come back and be strong at this race. And Laughlin's one of our favorite tracks, so it worked out good for us.
Do you guys like that course? Because you guys have been on that course a couple times, right?
I've only been on it once. Yeah.
What about you, Corey?
Yeah, it's fun. It gets really torn up.
Choppy.
Yeah.
It gets really torn up and choppy. There's some really fun sections in that course, but there's some sections that I'm not super fond of.
How was the course this year, Phil?
Oh man, it's one of those tracks. It's like the first couple laps is always super fun, and then maybe like lap 4 or 5, all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, it's so brutal rough. But it's fun because it's always a short race in comparison to the rest of the ones we do. So the intensity is just up, and coming from dirt bikes, and I like short course racing. I just happen to race desert, so it's it's fun because it's like an intense battle the whole time.
Yeah, totally. You guys get that same thing too, right? Yeah, I don't know if you guys have done as much desert racing as what Phil has, because Phil pretty much lives in the desert now.
Yeah,
but
sure.
if you had one, because he's at the top of his game right now, if you had one question to ask him if you were going to go to the races in a full desert situation, what would it be?
What's your secret?
Yeah, I know.
What pace do you run?
Well, honestly, I was thinking the same question as Jason. Like, I was thinking, do you guys go 85%? Because I feel like the competition, you got to just lay down the wood these days.
And it's getting faster and faster. Before it was like, we were always trying to save the car. Now we've got the car a lot stronger and the pace is so much faster. We had some issues at this race where we were having a hard time with getting to the mile per hour. It was like a little bit of a clutching issue we were having. But the pace is hard the whole entire time. Sometimes Bo and I are just laughing on the last couple laps in the dust when the sun goes down and the wind stops. It's like, we're pushing so hard in the dust, just relying on how the course was the lap before, hoping that a rock or something didn't get kicked in the way.
Yeah, dude, that course really does. And they have to groom it, so to speak, right? Like as much as you can groom a desert track. So once that clean layer blows off, it's toast. It's all back to those square edges and it's all gnarly again, right? I'm assuming it was the same way this year.
Yeah, it seems like the proving grounds, they always kind of leave that, just the rough, big old giant rollers, which is that part's really fun, but we're kind of just jumping from roller to roller in that section. And then the rest, it just gets just the gnarliest square edge. So we actually run our suspension way softer there, even though there's those big rollers, we run the car way softer there just so throughout the day we can get traction towards the end of the race. I don't know. That course is fun. I mean, that's where we got our Can-Am deal. Can-Am, that's where I met all the Can-Am guys was at that track. So I don't know, we have that track has a special spot for us.
Yeah, well, dude, and going back to what you were saying though, that soft suspension setup, I feel like that would be a really good tip for other people that are going to come into racing there.
That's what I remember is
the chatter was insane.
Yeah, kidneys and
I needed
internals.
A kidney belt. I remember that.
Another lap? I don't know if I can do another lap.
How much time did you guys spend on the course, and how many laps did you guys do this year?
It was 10 laps, which was funny because, our first YouTube World Championships we won there was 10 laps. And I guess just going back to the pace, we had a 32-gallon fuel cell in the old car, and we ran the whole 10 laps, probably not even knowing if we could make it or not, and ended up making it. And now, we have the data loggers, everything in there that's going off injector pulse, and we have a 34-gallon fuel cell in this car. And all of a sudden, lap 9, we're not going to make it on fuel. But it kind of came to the point of we either chance it, don't stop for fuel and see if we can get the win, or let's stop on the last lap. So we stopped and took 3 gallons on the last lap just to be safe, kind of looking big picture for championship wise. And, so it just shows you that we're burning that much more fuel. So it shows the intensity of the pace turning up there.
Dude, that's crazy, man. That much gas. And I do like what he's talking about, though, the racecraft that they just pulled off, like, because that wasn't going to happen, right? And then all of a sudden they figure everything out, and that's what like leads to the championships that he's got.
All the little details, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you run a different pace depending on what course you're on? Like, does that change your
Oh, for
strategy?
sure. Definitely, for sure. And Bo and I kind of always go over, and that's the nice part about having Bo in there and him being a racer himself, is that he knows that, you know, he's driving the cars a ton. I think, you know, this weekend was Bo's 7th weekend in a row in the race car, or in a race car. So it's like between the two of us, we're getting so much time in the cars. You know, like that pace we ran now was good for 170 miles, but that pace would never make it through the Baja 1000.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, totally. We actually had a question come in that asked if you were going to race score this year.
You know, it's not set in stone for anything, but we definitely, the 1,000 was so much fun. Or I don't know about the race, but the logistics and everything leading up to it was so fun. We're going to really try to pull that one off again. And then that leads into like, well, if the 400 is a qualifier for the 1,000 again, then we'll probably get roped into doing that. So I don't know. I'd like to race every single weekend, but it always, you know, comes down to finances and time with the family and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, just workload, man. Like we all of us sitting here on the call or on the phone, like it's crazy how much time and effort it takes to do all this stuff. That's one of the things that I think is so cool about Corry and Jason, and obviously you, Phil, is like you guys put in more time than almost all the people out there to be able to get to the races and to have such a good high-profile racing team and organization.
Yeah, we decided, we got back from Hammers. I said, you know, we moved into like another 3,000 square, or we expanded 3,000 square feet on my my current shop and built a race shop off there and just kind of like started prepping cars in there and never really set the shop up right. So we got back from Hammers and I'm like, one day randomly, hey, we're going to rebuild the whole entire race shop. So we gutted it, painted it, wired, plumbed it. And then all of a sudden I wanted to see a certain amount of cabinets set up before we left for the race. So we left for this race late. As soon as we were done, I loaded the car back in the trailer so I could get back and start working on it. It's just, it's definitely 24/7 nonstop going on it.
Dude, never ends, right? Yeah, and John Huppers commented in and said at least the 1,000 is a loop race this year. You liked that it wasn't a loop race. That was a point-to-point, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We don't have a ton of experience in Mexico. Obviously, we've only raced 1 year down there, but it was like the further south we got, the more fun the terrain got in my mind. So being a loop race, it's like, yeah, I'd say if it's, you know, 840 miles or whatever a loop race normally is versus the 1160, it's going to be like a way rougher race when it's a loop race. So it's less miles, but physically it's going to be a lot more demanding, I think.
That goes back to what you guys were talking about the pace. Like, do you run 80% or whatever? Yeah, it's kind of cool, man. Like, I think that you guys are doing a fantastic job now, but maybe give us a little bit of a rundown on how the race in Laughlin went for you, because I know I'm interested.
Yeah, you know, we won Parker, so we got to start. Me and Bo walked down to the start line. We got to start on the inside. There was a big old rut formed on the inside, so we're like, oh, guaranteed hole shot. You know, it was all soft and fluffy on the outside. And then about 2 minutes before we took off, they brought a big old grader in and took that rut out of there. So then it became like kind of even playing field, but we still had the inside, which was a shorter corner. Yeah, we got the hole shot. Vito and Dustin were right behind us. I pushed really hard the first lap just to kind of like set a pace, you know, to see what everybody else is going to do. We put about a minute on everybody on the first lap, and then started having that little bit of an issue with the mile per hour that I was talking about, and thought about coming in the pits and making some changes, but decided, we're still running, you know, at a decent pace. So let's just stay where we are because we're going to lose more time in the pits. And yeah, then it just like kind of just became like who was dropping out of the race and where everybody was at. You know, on the last lap, we were actually in second place halfway through the last lap, and then the leader got a flat tire. Like, we were settled in for second place thinking, we're second. That's still a good day for us. And the leader got a flat on the last lap, and we got around him, and Bo's like, man, we get so lucky sometimes on these races. And, you know, we're going by, and they're just starting to get out of the car to change the tire. And they started on the second row, 30 seconds behind us. So from then on, it was like, we just needed to keep the car together and go to the finish line.
Dude, that's pretty crazy, right? Yeah. Desert racing has so many variables. It always amazes me when I hear the stories like that.
Yeah, and that's crazy how he started back that far and was in first place. He had a good run going. You know, if he wouldn't have got a flat, who knows?
Yeah, and who was that got second?
Joe Toronto.
Yeah,
I think that's his last name.
I don't think I've ever met that guy before. Definitely like to talk with him as well. But it's cool to see all this competition, and that's one of the things we were going to talk about on tonight's show is the level, the pace, the competition, the growth of the sport. And it's pretty amazing, man. And you've seen it too, Phil.
Oh, for sure. I mean, from the first day we raced at Laughlin till now, it's way, way faster. It's fun though, you know. It's cool because you have newcomers coming, you have all the guys we've been racing with forever. I don't know. It's fun. I love it. It's what feeds us to go faster and faster all the time.
Yeah, so John Crowley just commented and said Joe Tirana. Hey, so I was going to like reverse the script here. If you could go and drive an SR1, one of the cars that these guys build over here, and take one of those out for a spin, would you? Because those things are, I've always heard, I've never got to drive one, like what do they call it, the driver's car, because it's so gnarly. It's like the closest thing you can get to a Pro 2 with the power and the weight ratio and two-wheel drive.
It's a total different engine, yeah. So it's a street bike engine, revs like 13.8, so it's real two-stroke-ish. So
Yeah.
You have to rev it real high, and then the horsepower is real high. So it's like nothing, and then all the horsepower. So yeah, you get a balance of real high horsepower, but also like a small 26-inch tire.
A really short wheelbase.
A massive power hit.
If you just floor it, you're just sideways and out of control. And I think that's where the driver's class comes in, is you're just monitoring that throttle and trying to keep it straight.
I would love to see a good driver like Phil drive it, man.
Phil would kill it. Yeah. It would do great.
Would you ever like to try one of those bad boys, Phil?
It sounds like a good time. It might void a couple of my contracts, but
Oh, I didn't even,
like a good time.
I didn't even think about
raced
that.
one-
Maybe
I
that was a
raced
bad question. So put that back on me, Can-Am.
I raced a 125 two-stroke, so I'm sure there's probably a little bit that plays into that. You know, I don't think everybody's been on four-strokes nowadays, but
Well, hey,
it
look.
sounds like a good time. I watched the videos. It looks like a blast.
Hunter Miller said he wants to drive one.
Oh,
Nice.
So there you go.
What is Phil's background? Like,
Yeah, so-
where did you start from, Phil?
I just started like local dirt bike racing. Never made it to the pro level or anything. Just did local dirt bike stuff, and then
Finally, I got one thing
kinda
up on
wanted-
Phil, man. I made it to the pro ranks on a dirt bike. Woo! Go, George. We got to put the applause, dude. Oh, that's laughing. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Phil.
And then I wanted to get into fabricating. I worked at like a local four-wheel drive shop, doing Jeeps and stuff like that. And then kind of got into the rock crawling scene. Did like the Cal Rock series, which is like a local competition rock crawling series. The shop I worked for was really cool, but they were more like the Jeep trail wheeler stuff. And I wanted to get more into like extreme buggy. So started my own shop at like 20 years old, building rock crawlers, got in doing some 4400 stuff with people. And then my dad bought a side-by-side, and I was never like super into them. I drove it one time, and then the next day I took it out and raced a local race and won, and kind of got hooked from there and started building cages and all sorts of parts for them.
Dude, see, that's super cool, man.
Way
And,
cool.
Yeah. Did you remember before you got into the side-by-side stuff, did you remember seeing some of the OG stuff that the Wellers had produced to kind of start growing the industry?
Yeah, for sure. I've always watched their shop grow. It's cool to see it. I don't know what it was back in the day. I think in the very beginning I was getting like oil cooler adapters from you guys,
Nice.
where you put it on before the oil filter, and then you had the oil cooler adapter off of there.
Yeah. Very cool.
Nice, dude. Look, see, it all comes back together in this small off-road world, dude.
It's a small world.
So
It is.
if
I
you
bought a Rhino way back in the day, and like thought I was going to get into those and building parts for them, and it just really didn't. The Rhino just didn't do it for me. I bought one, and literally like it just sat on my side yard. I drove it, and it just didn't. It was like seemed like a piece of farm equipment to me. And then once all these new cars, you know, now they're actually performance vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's way different, right? We're going to talk about that a little bit more with Jason and Corey after the commercial break. But, dude, I'm so stoked for you, man. You guys have been putting in so much work, and it's good to see your hard efforts paying off. How did you guys do after the race? Did you and Bo just have to hustle back to the shop, start getting stuff ready? Because I know you got some races coming up.
And we've been going so much, like I said before. It's like that's a 12-hour drive for us to get home. So as soon as we were done, like I had my toy hauler and motorhome and everything packed. We put the race car in there. I drove like probably till 1 o'clock in the morning, slept. I was trying to make it back. My kids wanted to see a movie at 2 o'clock, and I made it back at 1:45. So
Whoa.
I made it for the movie with them, and then went home and racked back out again.
That's hard too. Something like I got to throw in there. Any racer who also has to drive there and back, like that's a whole nother
Yeah.
level. Like that, we have to do it too, and there's a lot of them out there. But like that's something people don't think about. Like, you not only did you race all this, but now you gotta drive home.
Yeah,
Well, and a
exactly.
business owner too, running your business.
Oh,
you know,
and
Monday
everything
typically
else.
you're back at the shop.
Yeah, 100%. They do. Go ahead, Phil.
Bo leaves every race as soon as we're done. Bo leaves right away and drives all the way home, no matter where we're at. So it's like I'm always tripping out, like making sure he made it home safe, because
That's
it's like,
rough.
you know, we've been racing all day, and it's like he'll text me at 4:30 in the morning, made it home. All right, but it's the standard. Like everybody else will stay with me, and then Bo takes off in one chase truck by himself and goes home no matter what.
Dude, that's crazy. The amount of effort that goes into these things is always commendable, man. It's like it's kind of like in motocross, Bo, and like the privateers. They drive to every race. They still got to practice. They got to work on their own bike. Like they could be driving around with their buddy in a box van, whatever it is, man. It's so cool to see that people put in that much work for their passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Daniel Schenkelberg said that you're a machine, dude. And he's always saying the same thing, that even the media guys have to do that. But you got to remember, us media guys, we don't have to work on the cars like they do afterwards. So it's a little bit easier for us. So if you had one thing to pick out of the race that was like a crazy thing that happened, what would it have been?
Man, I don't know. I get the race is pretty uneventful, I guess, besides a couple bolts coming out of my hood, and the hood's flying like halfway up my vision, and I have some flip down sun visors, and so I had those down, and going into the sun, if it was like the perfect combo where the hood would flip up and the sun visor would block, so I was like zero visibility for a second. So I'm like, put my sun visor back up to get the sun in my eyes, but that way I could see over the top of the hood. But besides that, it was really a pretty smooth, flawless race.
Man, that's cool. Those are like some of the best times. Like I love having battles, but like some of those times when you just get out front and you can just run your own pace, like it feels so good because you're like, I don't know how to explain it, but like your heart rate feels like it's not elevated, right? You feel calm, like focused.
I don't know. Usually you're like waiting for something to happen though. You're like,
makes him nervous.
yeah, those are the times when something stupid breaks and
Waiting
you're
for the hammer to fall.
Yeah.
Would you ever do I don't know if you can see it in the background here, Phil, but Corey's got her short course car. Would you ever drive on a short course track like that? Like maybe do some of the, what's it called? The Midwest short course series? Is that what it's called?
The Champ Series.
Champ Series? Would you ever do stuff like that?
Man, I would love to. Honestly, I enjoy that stuff the most. It's just more like intense battling the whole entire time. Career-wise, I just chose desert racing because that was kind of the path I was going to take there. But Bo and I always, like, our goal is always to go to Crandon. I don't do it enough, so I might not be competitive at all, but it'd be so fun to come out there and race with everybody.
Dude, it would be pretty cool to see him on the track at Crandon too.
Yeah.
It would. Yeah, for sure.
Dude, yeah. If you had to pick, because you've done both, Corey, what do you think is the most difficult portion of each individual one, short course and then desert?
The most difficult?
Yeah, so like not the most difficult out of the two, but the most difficult piece in each one. So like short course, in my mind, in my opinion, the most difficult thing is staying out of the commotion in turn one. And then after that, you can usually run your own race, right? So it's like MMA, drag racing, whatever you want to call it, like right away. And then in desert, it's keeping the vehicle alive. So that's what I would say, but I don't know what you would say because you've done more than I have.
I would probably agree with you on short course. Restarts. So not only just the start, but restarts. Restarts might be the worst thing because sometimes we'll have races where there's 4, 5, 6 restarts, and you got one more lap to do. And if you're leading and you got somebody breathing down your neck and they're figuring out your starting position, like every time there's a restart, they're learning more and it just gets harder and the pressure's there. So for sure that is probably the hardest thing for me. I like starts. I usually have pretty good luck staying out of the melee, but yeah, that's always sketchy.
Well, there you go, Phil. You got an expert telling you what to do right away, so you got a tip number one.
Yeah, and desert,
Yeah, for sure.
Desert, same thing. I have to agree with that too. I think for me, the hardest part about desert is just knowing the right pace, which is why I asked. I feel like sometimes I don't have it. I'm either too slow, I'm a little off pace. I rarely push it too hard. I'm usually probably the opposite, where I'm just not quite pushing it hard enough, and I need to just step that pace up. So kind of just knowing, because I'm uncomfortable, it's not something I do very often.
Right.
So just finding the right pace is probably my biggest challenge in desert.
I think that's a really big challenge too. How did you get used to that, Phil? Like coming from dirt bikes, because dirt bikes, you're just balls to the wall the whole time, right? So like, how did you end up getting used to being patient and having that pace knowledge, or does Bo tell you what to do?
No, honestly, I think that rock crawling helped a lot with the pace. It's like rock crawling, you're really hard on equipment. You know, when I was in like bigger buggies and just, Rubicon and Fordyce, like you can break anything at any given time. So you kind of get like almost a connection with the vehicle on like what parts are going to break. And then we just kind of translated that into the off-road racing. And obviously we practice in the cars a bunch and we break stuff and figure out how to make everything stronger and see what pace. I think the biggest thing is like, instead of driving to a pace that is going to break the car, drive to a pace the car is going to last, and then slowly step it up from there. I think so many people are just, I'm going to drive as hard as I can, break it, and I'm going to throw a bunch of parts on it and show up at the next race. And I think it needs to be kind of the opposite. Go finish the races, get all the miles in, because then you're going to get the experience, and then slowly go faster and faster and faster until you break the car instead of going the opposite way.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like literally that's the best thing that I've heard, because like every time I went out on a not short course race, whether it was like a AZOP race or a Best in the Desert race, I always just went balls to the wall because that was like the thing that I knew. It didn't work out.
You see that a lot in short course too. A lot of new people come in and they'll want to win the race, or they'll
On the first
they'll
lap.
just be balls to
Yeah.
the wall, and they'll wreck their car, and they'll take a brand new car, and they'll wreck it and spend a bunch of money, fix it again. They're all pumped again, go wreck it again, and then they quit, because they just went too hard and had a rough time.
The sound effects, dude, they're so awesome. We actually had a comment come in that said the sound effects are great tonight, Jeff. So good job. We had a comment come in and said, do you guys hang out at KOH at all or no? And I think it's probably asking if all the Can-Am crew hangs out together.
Can-Am's pretty good. Like this year, it was cool. They had a lot of opportunities for us to all hang together. We had like a dinner at the Miller's Pit. We had a big photo shoot, which was really fun. We had an after party. So they definitely had a lot of opportunities for us to get together. Otherwise, it's really hard. Everybody's doing their thing. Everybody's getting their cars or pre-running their, it was so busy there. So I think without them kind of planning that stuff, it's a lot harder for us. We probably wouldn't have done any of that, but they made it really easy. It was cool getting to hang with everybody. Otherwise, we just wouldn't have the chance to.
Yeah, to be a fly on the wall, I think is what this guy is asking. It'd be cool to hang out with everybody. Hey, Phil, we really appreciate you calling in. We're going to let you get back to your family, but like we said at the beginning, man, congratulations to you, Bo, the whole team, man. You guys are doing a fantastic job, and we can't wait to see you at the next races, bud.
Yep, sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Nice job.
All right.
See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Super cool, man. Every time we talk to Phil, like it's so nice to see somebody that respects, is humble, and understands like the amount of effort that goes into all of these different things that he's doing, right? And what I see mostly with that, and you guys do it a lot as well, is it really reflects on the team that's helping you, right? Because it shows how much passion you have, not only for going out and winning, but for everything that's going on around you.
I mean, that's racing. It's chaotic. It's my brother got hurt in a dirt bike accident, and there was a lot going on, and it was crazy how calm we were compared to like everybody around us. And I think just racing kind of gets you that mindset. Look at all the stuff that happens in a short period of time, and you're just going through this stuff, clicking decisions. What do I do here? What do I do here? And what do I need to do to get through this? And it seems like Phil is got that experience, and he goes through the desert racing, and he makes these decisions. But even if you're not great at everything, but if you're good at making those decisions when they come to you, that's it. You can just click through them.
Yeah, and the experience is obviously something that you can rely on as it grows, but not everybody can have that same wherewithal to have that patience. Like still to this day, so my side-by-side career has only been it started in late 2014, and I never had enough time with work to complete a full season. So I feel like when I talk to Phil, I feel like I'm still such an amateur compared to that, because I don't have that patience and that mentality like what we just heard from him. And when I talk to you and Corry, I see the same things.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably just experience, and just what you've been through,
It's pretty crazy. So we're gonna have Lee Perfect join us in a little bit here. Lee, if you want to try the Instagram thing again, there you go. So we'll have him come on. Lee is actually doing a really good job with the Gas series, which is a series that is basically the new Lucas Oil Regional Series or the Lucas Pro Series that he started back up again for short course, and you guys are participating in that as well, right?
Yeah, they did good when Lucas Oil went away. Everybody's calling Lee, and he's getting his people together and gave us a place to race. So, I'd say it's bigger than a regional. They're doing a really good job pumping it up, and got lots of Pro 2s and Pro Lights too. So they're doing a good job. As far as West Coast racing, they're the go-to for short course stuff for sure.
It's pretty cool, man. And to see the amount of effort that he's actually putting into it is pretty rad too, because it's not a small feat to be able to get a series like that going or re-going again.
It's a risk, it's you do it because he does it because he loves it. I'm sure he's not raking in bucks, doing it. So
yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm going to try to see if I can get Lee on the phone here. It doesn't look like Instagram's working as well as it could for him. But when you talk about the gas series, how does it compare? Because you race the Can-Am and the SR1 out there, or what classes do you guys race?
They do have a turbo class. We've been just doing the SR1s, with both of us racing. Like this year, we're doing the Champ Series, so we're going to take our rig back to the Midwest, do Champ, leave it back there, and do the SR1s at Great American Short Course here.
Yeah, with both of us, when we both race, to double class would be insane. So we just kind of pick one, and the SR1's what we're racing in gas. It works out well.
That's a lot of work to keep both things going, though, right?
Yeah, it can be. The SR1s are pretty low maintenance. But again, just double classing, and plus going back and forth from one style of driving to another style of driving between the two vehicles. I prefer to just focus on one if I can. My performance tends to be a lot better than if I'm bouncing around from the Can-Am to the SR1 and back to the Can-Am, back to the SR1.
Yeah, you can focus on one single thing.
Yep.
Lee, perfect. Can you hear me, bud?
I got you.
What's up, man? How are you?
Doing great, man. How's it going?
It's going good. And we were just talking about the gas series and how much fun these guys have out there. You guys mentioned, we're going to talk about side-by-sides, but you guys mentioned that there's all kinds of different classes. So anybody that's in the, mostly Southern California area, like you can go to Victorville and check it out. Anybody that's watching and wants to get into the racing, this is a fantastic series to go check out, because we have, like I said before, messages that come in all the time saying, how do I get into racing? Well, side-by-sides are a perfect entry point. So if you have a side-by-side and you want to get into racing, go to the gas series. Lee, you can tell us in just a second after I finish where the races will be, but go to the gas series, check it out, and stop by the Weller's Pits. They can show you some of the stuff that they do. They can give you some tips on what to do to get out there racing. And wherever the locations are, maybe, Lee, you can tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we've got all kinds of classes from 6-year-olds all the way up. So got the schedule out, had a little hiccup here after the first of the year with going to Wild Horse Pass. They had to cancel our contract and then a few other contracts, NHRA's going on and some other stuff. But it looks like we're working on rescheduling it for our October date. So hopefully we're going to get out there still this year and get out there in October, juggle a couple things around. So we had to move our first date a few weeks. Neither track in California could accommodate us. So April 9th and 10th, we're going to start off at Victorville. And then we'll go in May to Glen Helen, come back to Victorville in July. Hopefully get out to Wild Horse Pass, working out those details now in October, and then back to Glen Helen in November. So we'll get five weekends, 10 rounds in this year. So it should be pretty good.
That's super cool. What I get from that, though, too, is I can hear it, like Lee's being humble about it, but like that takes a lot of work to be able to reschedule those events and to manage all that stuff. But the good thing is he's trying to keep all of those races going for everybody that wants to go and contend in the championship.
Yeah, he definitely wants it to succeed, and as the stuff comes up, and if you manage, you can make it happen.
Yeah, totally. And it's a good place, too, for the SR1s, man, because the SR1s on those short tracks is so insane.
Yeah, well, and the class has actually been growing over this whole last season at Great American Short Course.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch more people out there.
Yeah, and usually that's not the case. Usually it kind of peters out towards the end of the season as people are out of points or whatever, but it actually started picking up. So it's going to be pretty cool to get back into it. Hopefully we have that same momentum going into this year.
Are you guys going to battle together or no?
Yes, we'll both be racing.
Uh-oh, Lee.
Yeah, we'll see how long Jason keeps the #1 plate this year.
Oh, look, it's already talking, man.
That's my jam. I feel like Corry is definitely, she's there, and she's got a lot faster this year, or this last year. So it could be either one of us, it could be somebody else too. but she's definitely the one I'm looking out for.
So, Lee, I want to ask you kind of the same question along the same lines, at least. So when was the first time that you met the Wellers? Because when I first saw of them, I didn't know who they were, but I had just gone with Casey Corry to a short course race in Wild Horse Pass, I think it was, and no, it was Speed World. And I saw Corry riding around the track in the SR1, and I couldn't tell you how excited I was to see those things, man. It was insane. So I can only imagine the times that you've dealt with short course and stuff, what you've seen from them.
I don't know, Corey, you have to help me. Were you at Core?
Or probably.
I was in a little blue stock Rhino bouncing around out there.
That's probably when you
We're in the kidney belt?
Probably, yeah.
15-ish years ago, right? I mean, something like that. So, yeah, long time.
Wow, that is a long time ago.
That's cool, though, man. We were talking about that, Lee, like the OGs basically, help bring side-by-sides to the racing world.
Yeah, for sure. And just the transformation of the UTVs and the market and the models that come out now, and every year they're changing. But then back to that SR1 group that Jason and Corey and everybody that's in it is just one of my most least drama, fun people that come to the races. They all hang out. They mostly want to pit together. The cars are awesome. They sound awesome. Probably one of the best deals in short course as far as speed, little prep, and going fast and sounding cool. They're a handful of drive, and it's a good group of people that race with us in that class for sure.
Yeah, I would love to just go out and just test drive one of those things because they're so badass, man. Do you have any funny stories over the years with them?
Oh yeah, some we can't. Right?
I was going to say, you be careful.
Yeah, PG-13.
We partied a lot in that class.
Weekend parties in the pits, and cornhole, and lots of good stuff over the years, and just all the different tracks we've all been to, during the 12-something years of the Lucas run of stuff. So lots and lots of good times, and some awards banquets. So lots of shared time with the Wellers for sure.
And
so good memory.
That's one of the things that we enjoy most about the show, and that's why we started the Dirt Life, was because we all live that same life, right? And you guys help promote that same lifestyle at the track, because you guys do have a really fun pit setup, because you guys do have cornhole or bags, whatever you want to call that game. After the races are done, you'll help each other out until the cars are fixed, and then you go have dinner together and like barbecue and stuff. One of those things is like it's the most enjoyable time, right? Because you're with all of your friends doing something that you love.
Yeah, I mean, life's short, right? You do this because you love it. You do this because you want to have fun. So do it with your friends. Make friends. We welcome competition. So if you come race with us, or if you buy into Weller Racing and you buy a car, it's going to be the same car we have, and we want to give you the same part. We want to race you head to head because I know this. I know traction, and I want you to learn it, and I want to see you grow. And it's a group thing, and it's all about family and friends, and that's just life.
The mentality of that, though, grows everybody, because it grows you guys as a company, it grows the vehicles, it grows the speed, it grows the competition, everything.
Well, what makes you want to come back, right? You want to see your friends. You want to go race. It's a perfect world, really, if you can make it happen. Obviously there's racing there too. So you're battling with somebody, and you guys don't get along, or something happens. You can shake it off and move on to the next one or whatever. But yeah. It's crazy.
That's one good thing about racers, Lee, is they have a really short mindset or memory. They can forget about it and move on and go to the next one really quickly.
Does Corey do that?
Yeah, that's for sure. Most of them anyway. But the whole social aspect of, I had a good friend started his kid in Razor 170s, and they're doing great and moved on to, up into full-size cars. But when he joined, he's like, the racing is maybe half or less. The social part of the kids playing at the track, the hanging out, the barbecuing, like you said, it's just they just got such a great group of people, and they just want to come, hang out in the pits, get their racing done, work on their cars, and we just it's a good time for sure, and lots of memories of over the years. Like you said, I mean, that's 15 years that we've than racing in and around with Corry and stuff. So lots of good memories
That's
there.
a lot of vodka.
Yeah, totally, right? All those special drinks that you have. But one thing is that I wanted to mention too was like, and I've seen this a million times when I go walk around at the old Lucas races or now the gas races, is that you guys are really, really fan friendly. So I've seen kids come over, ask for, like maybe a number plate if it was bent or something like that. And you guys are really, really cool to be able to talk with them and have fun with them. And especially Corry with the young girls and stuff like that. It's really neat to see that, because that must be even, I don't want to say it's more fulfilling than a win, but it's so enjoyable to see people so passionate about what you're doing and you can give back.
It's really refreshing too. I know, like when I was racing the truck and stuff, fans like that, or just people who are new to the sport, or younger kids that are just super excited about it. They ground you. They help ground you. Like you could have like the worst race. Like you get out of the truck like just almost ready to cry, and there'd be 4 or 5 girls like so excited that I was even out there, like regardless of how it turned out, and just wanting to talk or do pictures, and it grounds you. It just puts it all into perspective again, and it does it so fast, and it's so amazing to have that experience and to just have it pretty much every weekend. That you always have new eyes on the sport. It's always fun to see when you do it, as long as we have. Sometimes, I don't want to say it gets old, but it's hard to see the perspective from somebody who's brand new to it, and how exciting and how awesome it is. So
it brings new light to you, right?
100%. It just reminds you of why you do this and why you love it so much.
That's so cool. Have you seen anybody over the years? Because like Leah just mentioned, he's known you guys for 15 years doing it. Have you seen, like, let's just say one of the girls that's walked up to you now is actually racing?
Yeah.
Quite a
Lots
few
of
of them.
girls.
Yeah, a lot. I actually get, it's so funny because sometimes I'll get pictures. Somebody will send me a picture in my message from like 10 years ago, and they'll be like, "Hey, this is my daughter when she met you," and
Really?
and it's like a 5-year-old, like little girl, and now they're 15 and they're racing UTVs in a series and they're winning races. And yeah, so it's really cool. I do get that quite a bit. They're like, "Here's the first picture I ever took, with you and my daughter." And
that's so cool. So Lee, like that transcends like Lucas and Lucas Pro Series and now Gas. It transcends all of that because it's just the culture that is what you're keeping the stuff going for, is because of that type of thing, man. It's so fulfilling for those individuals to be out there racing.
Honestly, probably the kids and the stuff is what's kept me in this for the long haul here, is the kids that have had the opportunities that are now, right? Sheldon Creed just raced Xfinity, the Herbst and running trucks and Xfinity, and all the other people that have came through the series, and Christopher Pavordi winning in the 6100 and doing good in the desert, like all laps, Brock Hager, just Dickerson, all the names that have went through, plus all the girls that have come through the classes. And we start at 6 years old with Razor 170 in the carts and go all the way up, and just the lap after lap that these kids have got, and then the memories, and then if the parents a lot of times will hold the kids to good grades and doing good to keep the racing going. So it's shaped a lot of people's childhoods and got them talents that they can use forever. My kids did a little bit of karts. Now we're running a buggy in the desert, and it just, no matter where they go, you don't lose those skills and that time and those memories at the track.
When I hear you guys talk about it, you, Corry, and then Lee finishing up right there, like it actually like makes my heart warm to hear that because of the kids, right? And I've seen so many kids. I mean, like even just in the past 2 years with the Dirt Life show, I feel like these kids grow like. It's only been 2 years, but I feel like they've grown 10 years, right? And I see them and I'm like, holy cow, racing has taught these kids so much maturity, so much drive, and so much passion for something that they wouldn't have had they not had the opportunity from Lee or talk to you, Corry, or Jason. Like, it's amazing.
It's family time. It keeps them out of trouble. They have friendships that they can take with them the rest of their life. Like all of that, the racing aside, there's so much more that they can take from that lifestyle. And it's people like Lee who put in
Poppy.
all of that work. Yes.
The boss,
Hi,
Poppy. Yep.
That even make it possible. Like we literally wouldn't have this without that kind of work to even make it happen.
Yeah, 100%. And Lee, so one of the guys that you actually had racing with you is Don Haugen's son and daughter, Chelsea and Chance. Don just commented and he said, Corry is one of the best racers in the country. We chased her for years. She taught Chance a ton of moves, and I don't think he would be doing well now if without chasing her on the track. I really have a ton of respect for both Jason and Corry, and that goes a long ways, man. It's not just Jason and Corry. We're obviously interviewing them today, but that's just the whole racing world, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's so
That's nice.
That's super sweet. And they've been around forever too. Like,
Yeah, and they're super cool too, and they come up to a race and super excited for seeing everybody, and they're very welcoming and very family, and they're a huge part of short course as well.
the one time the Haugens brought in and out for all of the warfighter guys and us, man.
Yeah, that's how they are.
Dude, it was so awesome.
they lent me their truck to take Tucker to the emergency vet at Glen Helen. Just take it.
Yeah, there's
Really? The keys. Take it.
Dude, that's crazy, right?
it's Really cool stuff.
Man, we're getting so many comments, I can't keep up with them. So Schmitty Off-Road, I can't keep up because we can't see it. So ask your question again. Lee, so could you please tell me the dates again for the gas series?
Yeah, so the updated schedule is April 9th and 10th. We're going to Victorville. And then May 14th, 15th, we'll go to Glen Helen. July 9th and 10th, back to Victorville. We're not 100% set, but it looks like we're going to be able to go to Wild Horse Pass, get over to Chandler, October 1st and 2nd, and then we'll bump Glen Helen from that date into the November 12th, 13th. So we got a little back and forth on the SoCal tracks. Hopefully make it to Chandler. I know a lot of people are excited about that. A lot of people plan on that first race. So were we. Little hiccup there, but it looks like we're going to work that out. And
yeah, thanks for putting in the extra effort, Lee, to get this stuff going for everybody.
Hey, what were you going to do on the track in Chandler, by
That's
the
what I
way?
was just going to ask. Are you going to leave it the way NRX has it?
The big gap jump? Let's do it.
well, I don't think the junior ones are going to make it across the gap. We got to probably go back to that traditional direction and probably just kind of carve that gap jump into the old right-hander turn again. And, Kelvin's been out there a couple times looking at it, got some ideas going. So we'll kind of put it somewhat back the way it was traditionally running in the direction like they did. They did quite a bit of work, and we'll have to put a little bit back to run our stuff, but it should be good.
Big sender over here. Corry wants to hit these huge jumps, dude.
That gap jump actually looks pretty fun.
Hey, so we did have the comment that came in, and I think this relates a little bit to what you have going on, Lee. Is Schmitty's Off-Road? I think is how it's pronounced. How do you guys balance racing, off-road life, and family life? Just had the conversation with my fiance about this. LOL. She worried about how much time racing will take away from the family. And before I finish, Dallas Nord is going to join us at the commercial break. His wife walked up to me and said, usually I don't see Dallas because he's in the garage 24/7. So it's kind of that same question and same thing, right?
I think for us, it's what we know. We met racing. We've always raced. It's almost the opposite to where like you get bored when you're not racing, and we kind of need that. We'll have some like time off, and it's like, man, you just start missing it. So
our family time is racing.
Right.
There's really, unfortunately, not a lot of separation. Like, it doesn't take away from it because it pretty much that is our life.
Right.
I can definitely, it can be hard to balance things out when your kids are younger and they have school and they have their lives as well, and that isn't maybe your race life necessarily. If they're not racing or whatever, then it can get a little skewed, but you can recenter and refocus, and I think communication is really important. Touch base every so often. Hey, how's this going? How are you guys feeling? Is this working out? And know your priorities.
Yeah, exactly. And I think on just like if we're going to do, for argument's sake, if your kid's into baseball, then support that, man. Like, go do that, right? And if you want to race, then that's secondary. Your child is first, always, no matter what. So I think you guys can probably figure it out with your family, but there is so many racing families, and Lee can attest to this, that a lot of the people that are out at the track, and Dustin Jones, actually, he mentions this all the time. He goes, everybody at the races is my family, just like what you said. And I think that you'll learn a lot about that stuff if, Schmitty's Off-Road, if you do have this question come up. make sure you take your wife to the races. Make sure she understands the whole thing. Make sure she talks to good people like Jason and Corry. Make sure she goes up to Lee and see how much passion Lee has for it. And his whole family, Poppy, all the kids, everybody's into it. It's really fulfilling once you get to know everybody and see everything, man. So I think it's a really good question that you asked for sure, bud. Let's see here. So we had a couple comments come in. Hey, Corry and Jason, looking forward to the Gas Series round 1 and 2. So you guys are going to be there, huh?
Yep.
We'll be there. Yep.
Are you guys looking forward to it too?
We are.
Yeah, I'm so bummed.
We were bummed about Chandler, but
I know Lee didn't have anything to do with it. We were super excited about that. I was like, and sometimes, to be honest, doing this for as many years as I've done it, I'm not always super excited about the first race of the season. Sometimes it's like,
You still get nervous?
it's work. It's a lot of work, and I don't know if I've had enough break. Our off season's so short, and so it's always fun to race, but I don't always have that excitement, like really looking forward to it. This year I definitely was. I was ready. So yeah, I'm kind of bummed. We got a couple more weeks to prep, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, I'm excited.
yeah.
It's pretty cool. And so one thing that we had a comment come in from Lori Larson. She said, I love watching Corry race, even more when I have a headset on. So I have so much respect for the Wellers. Be smooth like Corry.
Lori is going to be my spotter, I think, at Champ. So.
Oh, really?
Yep. We're the Blantourage.
The Blantourage? That's what it is. Lee, you're gonna have to call out the Blantourage on the announcing. Have the announcer call it out when they're out there on the track, dude.
Yep, that sounds good.
All right, so let's announce those dates once again, Lee, and we're going to let you go because we got to go to commercial break. But before we announce them, I really do want to say thank you very much for putting on the series for all of the racers out there. Man, it doesn't go unnoticed by the industry. We really respect everything that you and Poppy and the whole family are doing.
Huge thanks, Lee and Poppy.
Yep, it's awesome.
Our sound effects guy is on point tonight, Lee.
Yep, that's awesome. Like I said, it's all about family, and my wife Poppy, most of you know her, is major part of this. The kids are working. Ashton doing staging, Brooks doing tech, and doing numbers and scoring and stuff. Writing them down every lap, every time. But that's what it's all about. Been doing a long time and having a lot of fun of it. So a lot of cars have switched hands. Carts and buggies and trucks. So lots of cars shifting around, new people coming in, so it's going to be a good year. The dates real quick are August 9th and 10th at Victorville, May 14th, 15th at Glen Helen, July 9th and 10th back at Victorville, and looking like hopefully October 1st and 2nd, Wild Horse Pass Chandler, and then we'll finish up at November 11th or 12th and 13th at Glen Helen. So it's good year running.
Yeah, whenever I hear the series schedule, I always look forward to the last race the most because I know that in short course it's going to be a battle royale, especially when you have competition like Jason and Corry over here. So I always thought it was super cool that you guys had that, Lee. I appreciate what you guys are doing, man. So where can they go to check out the dates? Isn't it greatamericanshortcourse.com?
Yep, greatamericanshortcourse.com. Follow us on Instagram or Facebook, and USAC's been busy, King of the Hammer, Speed Week, all that. I was out there for almost a month, so we're regrouped, and we'll get all the driver registration and all that stuff up here in just a number of days, and be ready to rock and roll. So find all the info on there, or call or text me anytime.
Cool. Thanks. Keep up the good work, Lee. Yeah. Oh, and that's actually a good thing that he brought up. So if you guys have questions, you guys can always call Lee because you have his phone number. But he does offer it up. You guys can go to the website. So if you guys have questions, if you're a new racer, you need some understanding of what the rules are, you need to know what safety requirements they have, Lee's always around to help. He's really a big proponent of getting you guys out on course. So check it out and hit him up if you guys need anything. Thanks a lot, Lee. We're going to hit a commercial break. We'll see you at the first race, bud.
Awesome. Thanks. Good talking to you, Corry.
Thanks, Lee.
Bye. See you soon.
Yep.
All right, we're going to go to commercial break, so we'll be right back with Dallas Nord and Corry and Jason Weller here at Weller Racing. See you guys in a bit. Yeah. Welcome back to episode 118 of the Dirt Life Show with with Corry and Jason
Hello,
Weller of Weller
I'm
Racing.
Justin, the founder of
And
Shock Therapy.
We've been getting into some really cool stories, and we're going to talk to Dallas Norton in a little bit here. But something that you guys told me off air really resonates with me because, a lot of people think, Weller Racing, you guys have a fantastic
Shock
shop
Therapy
here,
has
like we
been
explained
around
at
for
the
5
beginning of the
years,
show,
but we have
and some
personally
really
been
cool stuff
tuning
going
suspension on
But you
off-road
guys
cars
really did,
and race
like,
vehicles for over
I always think of
25
it like
years.
this.
We
Steve
tune
Jobs
between
started
10
Apple
and
in his
15
garage,
cars
right?
per day,
And Corey
every
kind of
single
mentioned the
day
same
of the week.
thing. Like,
Our
you guys have
concentration
been
is tuning
pioneers
shock
in the
systems
side-by-side off-road
and supplying
industry for a long
components
time
that
now.
improve the
But
ride
you guys
quality
did
of
the
your
same
car
thing. You
in
started
many
off
ways.
in the garage
Not only do we
in
work
the
on the
same
average
house that you still
UTV,
live
but
in.
we also tune suspension for race
That's
teams
amazing.
and
That's
professional
amazing,
drivers.
man. Like,
Well, it was side by side. That was
We currently tune for over 87 race teams in Best in Desert and Score. Our clients and race teams rely on our suspension components
so when
to allow
you guys
them
are doing
to
that,
win
like,
races
actually, how
and
long
keep
did
them
you
safe.
guys have the
Suspension
shop
is a moving
garage?
target.
Like,
We are always trying to hit that target with
originally,
every customer that we
all the way
work
up to
with. Each customer's
like
needs
like
can be different, and we
2
tune
to
our
3
kits
years
accordingly.
because we bought the house in
Our research and
2004.
development never stops.
yeah.
We improve our components every single day.
Well,
I
As
bet
the
you it was
industry
like-
evolves
I mean, if
and
you want to
improves,
see how ghetto we
so
really
do our
started,
parts.
we really started in an
As of right now, we have
apartment
over 100 products for UTVs.
That was-
Really?
So when you
Like-
bring your car to us,
Yeah, totally.
you
Yeah,
have
but
the
we weren't really
satisfaction
doing
of
anything for
knowing that you
anybody
have
else.
the
That was
most
just our own
experience,
No,
the highest
it-
quality products,
I'm sure
and the fact
people were
that
like,
your
hey,
car
can you
is
fix my
being
crap?
I mean,
tuned
literally,
specifically to you.
literally, when we got together and we lived together, it was an apartment. We had an extra garage, like they have the garage units.
The
That was
new
probably
Code
illegal. You
Shooter
probably
from
could have got in
Evolution
trouble for that.
Motorsports
You know
has
what's
the power
crazy?
of
With our business
ECU
license,
tuning
it must
right
have been
in the
zoned
palm
for
of
like
your
commercial
hand.
or something because like we had no
Available
problem
for
getting a
Can-Am
license
and
to, like,
Polaris,
work out of our
the
apartment,
industry's
right?
most innovative
And then we moved to our
app-based
house and we're like,
ECU
okay,
tuning
we're
device
transfer our
lets you
license
flash
over
your
to our house.
vehicle's
And
ECU,
we had all these
read and
problems,
reset
like, what's the
diagnostic
deal?
codes,
Like, we were
and
in an
monitor
apartment
critical
working out of
live
the garage.
engine data, all
How
from
ghetto
your
is that?
smartphone.
Now all this red tape.
Additional Code Shooter features for
Garage,
Can-Am
you're like, no, you
include
can't do
optional
that.
dash flash, real-time
Man, that doesn't
monitoring
make
of
sense.
air-fuel ratio
Yeah,
and
I
belt
mean,
temperature,
technically, out
and
of an apartment
adjustable
garage,
launch control for
and,
the
we just
ultimate
closed the door
advantage
down
off the
and
line.
My brother and I were
Code
going
Shooter
outside.
unleashes the full
That's
potential
where
of
the
your
snake.
vehicle,
That's where the
putting
snakes
you
come
in
in the
complete
Arizona
control
desert, though, right?
wherever
What did
Wi-Fi
they say,
access or
from the
4G cell
beginning? That's
service
pretty
is
cool.
available.
Like, do you guys ever
No
go
more
and
waiting.
like
No more
I don't
sending
know, when
in
you're
your
falling
ECU.
asleep kind of thing, and be
Download,
like,
connect,
man,
flash,
look how much we've
ride.
come, or how
The
much
power of
far
ECU
we've come,
tuning
how
in
much
the
work
palm
we
of
put
your
in to get to the
hand
point we're at
at
now. Like, to me, that makes me happy just
EvoPowersports.com.
knowing how much.
Zollinger Racing builds the best aftermarket products
I
available.
mean, it's
Products for your
it's just
UTV
that
or
going,
snowmobile,
going, you know,
including
and
billet
everything
radius
is-
rods, billet tie rods, billet steering knuckles,
always
billet
trying
steering
to
racks,
set goals,
alternator
set
kits,
goals,
and much
set
more.
targets,
All
set back.
manufactured in the United States,
When we got to
in-house
us, it's like
at their headquarters in
here,
Nibley,
it's-
Utah.
it's our
Travis
friends.
Zollinger and his team test in some of the most brutal conditions, racing in places like the Best in the Desert Mint 400, Ultra 4 King of the Hammers, UTV World Championships, and many more. Visit ZollingerRacingProducts.com and use the code DIRTLIFE to get 10% off your next purchase, and join us on social media at
I
Zollinger
love
Racing
hearing stories
Products
like that, 'cause you
to
walk
see
around
our
the
products
business,
in
there's always people
action.
doing that, right? So you know, you're like, yeah,
Like, so nobody can see me spitting out my toothpaste.
dude. I've done that a million times too. So I love those
We
stories.
put a shower in our box trailer, and we like put a bucket under the
Zollinger
bottom of it
Racing,
so we
the
could, like,
best
take a shower.
products,
We thought we were the
period.
coolest things ever.
Finally, we got Lance from
just have to do
Solderweld
it
in the
really quickly
studio.
now.
Thanks for coming down, bud. Hey, why don't we just record a commercial now?
Yeah, why
That's
not?
good.
It's so
Just
good to
hard
be here,
work,
man.
and
It's
that's
been a
the
lot
American dream,
trying to
right?
get down here
Hard work and look
forever,
what you
and
can do,
wanted to
but
talk about the
it's-
off-road kit.
Dude, I
can
love
totally
those things. I got it in my
appreciate
pack.
that.
And then,
Yeah, we're running
like, where did it
hundreds
kind
of
of go from
vehicles
there?
now
Like,
running
so
them, whether
you
it's a
start getting
UTV
more
or
and more
some
people
guy's got it in a
calling you, like,
backpack
well,
on his
crap,
motocross.
we're
He's got
actually, like, working
everything
on a
he
bunch of
needs to
people's
make a
stuff. Should
fix
we go get a
right there on the
building and
fly,
talk
out
over
on the
with Corey,
trail,
or-
Don't ask
or
me,
in
he
the
has a
desert,
terrible
whatever it
memory.
is.
Well, since I've already used one, I kind of know what to use it for. But explain what it does.
All right, so let's pull one out real quick. You've got your aluminum rods. Remember, they're rods, right? So, light torch, small
he's actually
torch. You
an automotive
can
technician,
throw
like
it
a
in there or
really
throw it on the rig
well-trained
with your flux.
Porsche
It decontaminates and cleans
and then he
like
went to
let's say a
GM.
radiator. You get a
So he's
random rock
actually
chip
kinda
runs through
really
as
overqualified
you're racing.
for
You get a
what-
rock chip
what
in a
we do
radiator.
here,
You got to
right?
fix it right
But,
there, or you're out of the race.
So you
the
patch it up.
You can patch it up. It's all good to go.
Yep, just like welding.
Yeah. Also, as well with that, you got a brake line fix. So with your flux, you can fix a brake line, stainless steel, and then your hot block. Heat absorption keeps you from getting burned. Number one, as well as keeps the heat from traveling. So it's really nice.
I've used this not even to fix anything. So that stuff works so good, man.
Listen, it's easy. It straps in nicely so that you have everything you need in one little place, and you don't have to carry a big bag in the.
It's like a first aid kit for your vehicle.
Yeah, Chase trucks have it as well, so that if they need to make a fix on the fly, they can get it done and get it done quick and get you back in the race.
It's pretty crazy. Things are so cool. All right, so at Solderweld on Instagram, Facebook, and solderweld.com.
Just like you, George. Well,
thank
you very much.
Thanks, bud.
Appreciate it.
When I got hurt,
and now back to the Dirt Life Show.
That's a good thing or a bad thing for me to admit that I love unicorns. Hey, so I don't know if Dallas can jump on it, getting on Instagram, but he's more than welcome to join us now. One of the things that we've brought up a few times is you guys are very well known for having the SR1s and starting that class. How did that even come about, though? Like, I mean, the Yamaha Rhinos, like, I get it, right? Like, you wanted more power, you want to be faster, but did you just all of a sudden see, like, we need to have something fast and go racing instead of quads? Like, because most people would have just took a Rhino and put bigger tires on it and hit the trails or something.
Dust to Glory is responsible for that.
I mean, if you look at the evolution of the side-by-sides, it was just part of it. You know, we started racing Rhinos, and they were fast, one cylinders, and then look, you had the Razor, you had the Terex, you had these two cylinders coming out, and all these Rhinos that we'd built are just sitting there, you know, and you go out there, and we were making them faster and doing all kinds of stuff, and they just got unreliable. And we were at like a core race one time, and it was just like she was leading so far ahead, and blew a clutch apart, and it was just we were breaking so much stuff. So it was.
Well, he was building the single cylinder motor to 800 cc's. Like, we were getting crazy horsepower out of a single cylinder, and we got to the point, and they were expensive, you know, for racing a Rhino with those built motors. People
it didn't last.
A lot of money, yeah. And then we just started grenading the snowmobile clutches. And it's like at that point, like,
differentials and clutches.
Yeah, like how would you do?
There's
like,
too many weak links, right? You got to fix the whole thing. Well, one of the people that we know that you guys help out, a customer of yours, now a good friend of yours, Dallas Nord. Dallas Nord, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Dallas.
Hey.
Good seeing you guys.
How's Washington?
It's cold. It's cold, and I'm stuck in my garage here, and I'm midway front clip.
Hey, it sounds like we got some bad audio, man. I don't know if you can either go inside or maybe get off Wi-Fi and just use the cellular network so that we can hear you a little bit better. It's cool. How did you guys meet, Dallas? It sounded a little bit better. How did you guys meet, Dallas?
Dallas, speaking of hustler, this guy, I feel like I'm a slacker when I see all the stuff that Dallas is doing, but he bought our old race trailer, got into racing, just never stopped. He's just like us, you know, just loves it, and it seems like we just hit it off. And
yeah, he's a super good guy, right? But Dallas, like, so you remember the first time you were interested in getting into this type of racing, like meeting the Wellers and being like, okay, now I know who I'm going to work with and partner up with?
Yeah, can you hear me better now?
Yeah, it's
much better.
Seems better.
Okay. Yeah, you know, it's funny. I was, you know, before I got into racing, I was a customer first, and I had like a trail YXE, and I always call and specifically push Corry's line because she liked to chat, and I took that as an opportunity to, like, you know, slip in a, hey, what tire pressure do you run, and sort of all that stuff, and then I bought an old crashed YXE from the Midwest, and I called her one day and I said, hey, I'm getting into racing. Do you know anybody that's selling a trailer? And she's like, yeah, ours was for sale. And I think I had a check to her that day or the next day or whatever. I bought it sight unseen and sort of jumped in. Yeah, still wrapped, everything. I just figured, you know, if they, you know, ran a business out of it and raced out of it, I'm like, it's probably exactly what I need. And so I bought the trailer.
Just like that's so cool. It's just like we were saying before. Like, if you want to start racing, just do it.
That's
like,
what Dallas did.
He's like, he is the prime example of that.
Just
and
jump
I don't
right
know
in.
what I would have done if that wouldn't have happened. I'd have probably shown up with an open trailer driving across the country down there. I didn't really know what I was going to do, but it all worked out.
It's kind of cool to hear that story, though, too. And I think there's two cool parts about it, that he just jumped in, but that you guys were also willing to help. And I can vouch for that as well. 'Cause when I jumped in, I didn't know what I was doing. And I actually remember Jason driving back to the shop, I think to meet Marley, and gave him a radiator for me so I could keep racing while you were managing your race program and all of the people that you were helping. And I was like, holy cow, man, who does that?
Racers.
So it was pretty cool to see, man. So it's just cool to have that whole atmosphere and that whole vibe, because it really makes a big difference when you have the newbies in the sport.
Yeah.
So Dallas, do you remember how you did at your first race and, asking questions and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's funny that because Lori and I came down there and she didn't know what to say on the radio, and I didn't know what to ask her to say, and I didn't know what I wanted to hear. We didn't know anything, how to get on the track or anything.
Is that his wife? Is that who he's talking about?
Is that your wife, Dallas?
Yeah, Lori's my spotter. She's not my wife, but yeah, she already said that. She's like, you called me your wife. But yeah, and if you remember, this was 4 years ago, and I think the first national at Glen Helen got canceled. So the first race I went to was in Arizona, the next one, and there was like 25 or 28 production cars. It was a lot, right? And so I'm just this new guy, and I think I finished mid-pack. I hashtag mid-pack Dallas, but 15th or something. It wasn't great. I didn't set the world on fire, but I think the next day I got inside the top 10 or something. But yeah, it wasn't anything to write home about, but came back in one piece.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And when you see somebody like that out there running an older car, and it's got to make you feel good though too, because it's not somebody didn't just have a car. Like, he's using a car that you guys built, and what do we want to call it? Repurposing it, so for somebody else. So now he's using it again. It's got to make you feel good.
Dallas did a great job. Like I said earlier, when people come in, they can go crazy and get out quick. And it seemed like Dallas just he took all the advice, and he took the information and used it and built a solid program. And it took him a little longer maybe to get up to first place, but he's there quick, and he's fast and consistent, and he's pretty ideal for how to get into racing. I mean, right there, Dallas, that's what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. Tim just chimed in and said, Weller Racing is such a great team and a good place to work. So it sounds like he might work with you guys.
Tim.
Tim's a great guy. Tim preps my race car, by the way. Thanks, Tim.
Get it all dialed in.
Mine too.
Oh, yeah, his too.
There you go. Look, Prepper Tim. So Dallas, you prep your own race car. I know that you guys spend a lot of time in the garage, like what the Wellers did when they first started out.
Yeah, I do. And, I'm doing it now. And it's just, for me, it's a lot of work because, I take privateer to the next level, and kind of everybody does. You talked about that earlier in the show, how much work all this racing takes. But for me, it's more because I'm a 2 days drive away from every track. And, so just for me to go race, 12 minutes each day, it takes me like 9 days round trip to get it all done. So it's a lot of work. And, I enjoy it, right? We all like being at the track and having that family environment and all that stuff down there. But at the end of the day, you're camping with your friends, having a good time. Oh, and there's a little race during the day also, but that's such a small part of it, But yeah, we love it. And, the competition and the racing, I like that, the door-to-door racing is what's in it for me. And the struggle to get sort of, towards the top, it's tough because, in a side-by-side, you can't, everybody thinks they're fast, and you get 3 laps to practice at a race. So if you go start at a short course series, you just get a couple laps to sort of figure everything out. So, it took me a couple of years to really get, towards the front. And otherwise you got to rent a track or just whatever. It just, all that seat time that people talk about takes some time to acquire,
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that I had the luck of the draw, I guess you could say, is my house in Tucson, Arizona. When I started racing side-by-sides, we had a vet motocross track that I could go practice on all the time. So I had a practice car and a race car, and then I would take the race car out and test it. So it was a lot better for me, so I could escalate that transition or getting better quicker kind of thing.
Yeah, it's tough because a short course track, like a real one that's 60 feet wide and has flyaway jumps where you can just mat it in fourth gear. A lot of people say, come race my motocross track. It's just different. It's not the same.
Yeah,
you need the real thing. And it's just tough. There's not side-by-side tracks all over that just give you an open Wednesday night practice. So it's tough to get the seat time,
Yeah, exactly.
Even for us, we don't have any place in Arizona to practice.
Yeah, at all.
We go to California if we want to get any testing time in, and Dallas has to come all the way down here.
Yeah, to Glen Helen or something.
Yeah.
So Don Haugen commented and said, Dallas, are you going to race the champ races too? Chance will be there running in both NA and the Turbo 2022. P.S. Jason, bring the SR1 class to Crandon in the fall.
Would love to.
I don't think I have the room to.
Well, there's a two-part answer for that. Yes, I'm going to race the Champ Series. I saw that the Chance had an NA car, so that's cool. The more the merrier there. And I brought my SR1 to the Midwest last year, and I ran that up every flagpole I could talk to. I rented ERX and drove the SR1 around that track, which is amazing. There's some YouTube video footage of that out there. But they, I think their schedule's just too tight for it. They really didn't even answer my emails about it, but they all love it. And I took it through tech and put it in front of everybody's face and said, let me run this thing in Pro Mod or whatever. And they weren't having it, but I tried.
He did. He tried hard.
Tried really hard. Hey, I don't want to change the subject. We're going to get back on track, but I just want to thank Cody for reminding me. The Wellers did a big giveaway support for the George Hamill event. Thank you. They're great people. I really appreciate you guys doing that. So for anybody that doesn't remember that, I got hurt really bad in 2019, and the off-road community really aligned together, and the Wellers were one of the people that helped out with that. So I want to thank everybody because I cheat, and I can eat now tacos with these bad boys. So so Dallas, what's on the roster? Like, what are you doing in the garage right now to get ready for?
Well, in November, I crashed this thing. I crashed everything I owned in November. So I'm putting a
big racer guy over here.
He's not kidding.
Yeah. I don't consider myself a crasher, but man, the last weekend at Gas, it was just, I was on the tow hook 3 times, 2 transmission. It was just a tough weekend. So I'm fixing the YXZ up to race the Champ Series. I'm going to do, the tough part for me, not just driving, 2 days each direction, but trying to run a series in the California and a series in the Midwest is tough. So I'm going to race the Champ Series this year in the YXZ, and then that might be my moonlight year and that thing. So right now I'm putting a front clip on it. Weller started making front clips for these YXZs. It makes it easy. I mean, it's not easy. It's still a big job, but at least you can buy one now and put it on there, and it's bigger and stronger.
I've seen
and
a couple
better,
of those things, man. IMG Motorsports had one. They fixed the customer's car. Jason showed me one today. Those things are bitching, dude.
Yeah, they're super sweet. And so, but, tearing the whole front of the car apart, it's a pretty big job for me anyways, doing it by yourself. It just takes, plus I've just got my life to do. So slowly getting that back.
Sod? I'm just curious.
Yeah, and like cement
I'm
mixing,
just
right?
like yard work and I get a lot of stuff going on.
If
right.
you want to,
and this is not normal for me. Like if this was a normal race season, it was February, my car looked like this, there'd be heads rolling somewhere. But I'm trying to not get burnt out. We got till June till the first series, and then my SR1's a mess too. That needs an engine, and so maybe after Champ in the fall, come back and race some gas series races in the SR1, because that car, like you guys talked about it, is just ridiculous. It's so much fun. Like you can crash or get 5th or get finished outside the top 10 and still have a good time and come back, smile and joke around about it. It's obviously more fun to have a good finish on top of that, but the experience you get driving that thing is pretty amazing.
Man, like the amount of work that he said. Randy Sharp, I think he said that the best when he commented, and he said, "Go Dallas." That's about all you can say, right? Like, go Dallas.
Well, not only that, but he probably gets like an award for the longest commute. Like he literally talking about people
time,
who
right?
drive to a race. Yeah. He drives himself. Like he doesn't have anybody to split that drive time with either. It's he drives all the way down here.
Yep.
He'll drive
Sometimes
all the
Lori
way
helps.
home. Yeah. Oh, does Lori drive the Freightliner?
You know what? She does drive the Freightliner, but it's been a while since, she loves the road trips, but there's just now that we're racing all the time, she's got 2 kids and so she's flying back and forth now most of the time. But I do appreciate when she drives along with me and it is when you're driving a big rig, like if someone could take the steering wheel for just an hour to give you a break, it sure is nice.
Yeah, that would be pretty nice. Well, I think Dustin Jones travels a lot because he's always on the West Coast. I saw Dustin Jones this year more than I've seen most of my friends. And he lives in Louisiana.
Louisiana, right? Yeah, that's true.
It's crazy. So fun fact, we're going to do a show in Louisiana in a couple months out there at S3 Power Sports. So that's going to be pretty cool. Yeah. And breaking news for the Wellers. You guys are going to be invited guests to call and Instagram in at that show too. So Dustin requested you guys to call in. So
thanks, Dustin.
All
right, so let's see here. Engage Autosports says, all the road trip if you buy the beers and the tacos.
Yeah, so Engage, he's a guy I met, lives up here by me, and he did all the tin work on my car last year. He's a pretty good fabricator up here, and so he helps me out. So thanks to Lance for tuning in. I appreciate it.
That is pretty cool, though. Like, it just goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. Is it's such a good, tight-knit community that everybody helps each other. I couldn't tell you how many times our audio technician tonight has helped me at the races. So thank you, Jeff. And then everybody coming over to the house, just like lending a hand, right? Like, you'd never even know. And like, well, he said it the best: tacos and beer, right? I mean, like that for payment is like fantastic.
Yeah, and I don't, I'm the only one up here. There's racing up here, but it's not as big, and so there's no real, homies coming over to help me usually. So if I need something, fabricated or welded, like he's my go-to guy for that. I try to do it all myself, but I also try to stay in my lane. Like if there's a real important part that I'd like welded properly, I'm not too proud to take it somewhere too.
Hey, so we had, I'm going to give you a little bit of time to come up with a funny story real quick, Dallas, about the Wellers, but we had a funny comment come in from regular Rusty. You know who Rusty is? Rusty Baptist? Yeah. He asked, can the Wellers teach me how to Dougie? Is there something behind that? I feel like that's an inside joke.
Is that like Doug Matag?
I don't know. I feel like
that's an OG. And like as long as we've been racing, he's been there forever too. So
yeah, Rusty knows everybody and everything about off-road, right?
Like
Joey D and Rusty
Rusty's
and
seen some parties.
RJ and Dougie. Yeah, I mean those guys have been around forever as well.
It's pretty cool. But can you answer the question? Can you teach him how to Dougie?
I can't.
Does Corry know how to Dougie? I don't even know what the Dougie
let's just
is.
say I don't know because we probably don't want to see it.
Been a while.
Because now the people are going to want like some sort of TikTok video out of it or something.
It's been a while. It's been a while, and I don't even know if I was doing it right.
The Dougie is dance
I was
moves,
very
right?
drunk. Yes.
Yeah,
it's dance moves, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Maybe Dallas can show.
Yeah, Dallas.
I was just gonna say I'm not doing it for sure. No one wants to see that.
Do you have any funny stories about the Wellers? Because I have another question if you don't.
Yeah, I'll tell you a story about. So when Lori commented earlier and it said, "Be smooth like Corry," I'll tell you that story. We rented a track, that ACP out in down by you guys in Phoenix, and Corry was testing her Can-Am for something, and I was just trying to get some shakedown laps on my my YXC. Anyways, after they were done testing, Jason gave me some attention. He likes his project drivers, and he and I kind of barely knew each other. But he was giving me a half hour's worth of suspension work and just go try this and go try that. And we got all done, and he's like, "Man, Corry's just way smoother than you." Like, no, Corry's so much smoother than you. I mean, he said it like 5 times. I was like, I get it. Your wife has 1 million championships. She's super fast. And so I was like, all right. And so we got packed up the trailer and drove home. And Lori and I kind of joked about it. We were like, man, he really ran that point home. Right? Like Corry's really, really smooth. And then so now, like, when I'm out there driving, Lori will give me a hard time. She's like, "Be smooth like Corry." And but you know what? It's stuff like that. It paid off because he said that. And I started running the GoPro in my car facing me. I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, what are my arms doing? What's my head doing? How am I driving?
Yep.
And, now a couple of years later, I get comments from people like, "Man, you're so smooth out there. You don't ever make mistakes." I'm like, well, it's because Jason made fun of me and shamed me. Right?
You know what the craziest part about that is there's so much, like, I could laugh about this for days, but like there's so much truth behind these statements is because now you're conscious of it and now you know how to ease the vehicle around and not make big movements and like little stuff like that, whether Jason knew how much it was going to impact you or not, really did help a lot, right?
It did, yeah. And people are like, "Why are you taking videos of yourself? Your ego's huge." I'm like, "No, I'm trying to learn, trying to see what my body's doing." And not only that, but I know a bunch of racers that get tired at the end of 12 laps. And when you look at what's going on inside the car and what your arms and legs and how you're just reacting, you can cut all that out. My seat's perfect and my levers are perfect. Everything's perfect where I want. So when I get in that thing, man, I just have to turn the wheel a little bit here and there. And my heart rate doesn't change a bit. So there's something to that. You don't have to muscle the car around and bang gears like it's, you hate the transmission. Like you can do it with some finesse. So, but it's something I worked on. I didn't know that I wasn't smooth, but Jason was happy to point that out.
It all goes back to helping the vehicle though too, right?
I'd say, yeah. I mean, fun fact about me, if anybody ever comes up and asks me any racing help, you shoot them straight, and if it's not what you want to hear,
Yep.
I'm sorry, but a lot of people I think take that and they think I'm like messing with them, but it's racing and I want to see you get better, and it maybe like Corry's been through it a bunch too, maybe like tough love or whatever, but yeah, I mean, this is what you need to work on and go work on this and you're going to get better. You're not saying I'm like a pro or anything, but we've been through a lot. You know?
The experience ends up paying off. And I think this is one thing, I'm not going to get too far into the situation, but I talk about this all the time in my life, that everybody is soft. To be a racer, you can't be soft. Yeah. You can't be soft at all. If it's tough love, if it's the truth, if it's a reality, accept it and move forward. Like, that's what you have to do to be a good racer. Dallas learned a lot from it.
Look, I mean, he took it and he ran with it, and look how smooth he is, you know, and yeah, I mean, it can get you there for sure.
Corey is so much smoother than you, Dallas.
I don't think I said it like that.
I know. Like, honestly, I watch a lot of Corey's driving, and Lori and I watch a lot of tape, and we watch Corey. Like, Corey really, really is a smooth driver, and the way she rotates the car and all that stuff is great. And it's kind of like, so now we just joke around, just be smooth like Corey, and I know what it means, and she knows what it means, and it's all good.
I don't think I said it like that. It was probably like,
oh, no, he probably
hey, what's the difference between Corey and I? And I was probably like, well, she's probably a lot smoother, you know, or something, but I don't know.
I don't know. I remember it different. But you know what? You guys are different on the radio. Like, you guys are married. The radio's different. Like, when Lori spotted for Corey, Corey's like, Lori gives me compliments on my turns. Like, that's what's part of the Nord package. You get like, that was a beautiful turn. Like, I don't think Jason's saying that on the radio.
I never got a compliment over the radio. I was like, floored.
Like, she totally thinks she needs compliments to do better. And I will 100% prove you wrong every time.
I love that.
If Corey needs to get faster.
No, the
she
term,
needs to dig her nails in. She needs to be pissed off.
The term
and
is
I know exactly the buttons to piss her off.
Positive reinforcement, not compliments.
Oh, that is hilarious, man. That was a beautiful turn.
It's funny because when we were new, Lori used to put on their spotter radio and listen. She didn't know what to say, so she's like, well, let me listen to Wellers a little bit. And she got back and she's like, I'm not telling you any of that. I would never talk to you like that on the radio, right? Like, because or she would say, like, Corey would say, Jason, you're clear, and Lori would say, there's no way I'm going to tell you you're clear. He had like 1 inch. And I'm like, well, that's what we have to get. It's like 1 inch, clear for them and clear for us is two different things. So we had to step our game up.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, Lori wants you to fit a semi-truck through there.
Well, and that's a huge thing too.
Yeah.
In short course, you have spotters, right? So like desert racing and things, you don't even deal with any of this. But short course, yeah, we have a spotter in the stand. Usually for Corey, I'm spotting for her or vice versa. Or, yeah, Lori will help out. But it's a total different element, right? So how do you treat your driver?
Right.
What information do they want to hear?
We're like co-drivers, except that we're just not in the car. We're their co-driver.
Like a backseat driver on the radio.
Yeah, no, I love that though. Like my crew chief and spotter as well, Brian Lopez, like he would tell me specific things. I would say, you need to watch everybody else more than you watch me, and talk to me when I'm doing something wrong, and just tell me immediately so that I can fix it before I even notice that I'm doing it, and then I just repair it and go. Like, so it was really good, and I was a big fan of the tough love thing. Like, I liked it because of the fact that I didn't know. Like, I don't care if you tell me. Like, if I go through a corner good, I didn't need to know that I went through it.
You don't have time for the drama. It's just like, I'll watch turn one and I'll watch everybody go through it, and I'll watch my driver and I'll say, okay, step it out. Or you messed that one up, do it again. You know what I mean? So it's just that quick time.
I started calling him Captain Obvious because he would literally, like, I'd screw up a corner. Oh, you screwed that up. Like,
but you can just get there so quick if you're just to the point, and it's just like, all right, you need to do this. I don't want to hear anything. Just I'm telling you to do this.
I got some pro tips actually. If Lori's listening right now, like there's certain guys that call out the lanes. So the inside lane is number 1, and then 2, 3, and then 4 would be the outside lane, so that you can know like exactly where you are. So Lori would say, Dallas, you're in lane 1. Go to lane 3 is faster or whatever, and then slide up, down, and then go down to lane 1. Like, it was really cool to hear some of the pros talk like that.
Yeah.
Lori's like,
yeah, and it's funny because I don't know what, Lori and I, we have our own thing, been doing it for 4 years, and so when Corey's like, hey, she's gonna spot for me, I was like, oh boy, I don't know. She's gonna get a lot of information. You're gonna get compliments. You're gonna get this, but she does a lot of stuff besides that too. Like when you're sitting and staging, Lori tells me where the tractor is and where the holes are and where the water truck is, like all this extra stuff. And people in the stands have said, you really tell your driver all that stuff? And she's like, yeah, I tell him everything. And so,
she's a great spotter. Plus, she also knows how to program your radios.
Woo!
Oh, she's a radio ninja, that's for sure.
She's legit.
Yeah. And she can barbecue some steak.
And she can cook.
Oh.
We love you, Lori.
She just commented in. She said, yeah, I'm here. I'll spot Corey anytime. Do you have any interest in doing KOH, Dallas?
It's funny. I wondered if you're going to ask me that. I did, and I did a couple years ago. And what I'm trying to do with this racing is sort of quote unquote stay in my lane. I tend to take things pretty seriously and go crazy with them. And I just think that race, which maybe 2 or 3 years ago, a guy could sort of step in and have some good results. Like, I feel like that whole event has gotten so big now that I think I'm just going to leave that to the professionals. I do want to go see it and check it out and, maybe support Wellers or sit around and barbecue, whatever you do. But I think as far as driving, I just, the urge that I had to maybe do that is, after seeing some of the stuff that I've seen, it looks pretty gnarly. I don't know if that's for me.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same vibe as you. Like, the event is phenomenal. Like, it's phenomenal. But it's just not my cup of tea either. I'm going to stay in my lane as well. But to see these guys out there competing and doing a good job. In fact, Don Haugen just commented in and said, I thought Jason had a great qualifying going on at KOH. As a spotter, I saw it coming when he blasted the arches. I don't remember what that was because I didn't see his run in qualifying. I was like, Jason must know something I don't on the speed and the lane choice. Can Jason comment on what happened? Was that a plan or was it?
You comment, Jason?
So what's he talking about, first of all?
So qualifying is a big deal for Hammers. We had 130 cars or something in the UTV class, so you get one chance to go out there and lay down a lap, and it's some short course. It's going up this gnarly rock section. You come down the rock section, which is gnarly also, and you do all that, and you get through it, and that's hard. But they have these arches where you come through, and it's almost just like the last little bit of rock section, and you come down and you go into short course, and you're done. And I gotten through the hard part, and I was coming through the rock or the Bronco arch, and you kind of drop off, and there was a rock like right in the middle of the course, and jumped in the air, and when I landed like right into this rock that it's in the middle of the course. There's nothing I could have done, but it took out like my front end and ended up starting like 96th because of it. So I definitely could have used you, Don, if I had a spotter out there. You could have told me to watch out for that rock.
There's 3 lanes, too, to choose from.
And it was just a massive rock. That's crazy. Yeah. But you turned it around like a true racer, and you moved up through the pack and still finished it off good.
Corey was a big part of that. Yeah, there was, I think, that night. So, we do this race once a year. So you're working all year, and you're thinking about stuff, and you're like, what do we need to do? And you're asking all your crew, and you're getting ready for it, and then something like that happens, and that Monday night was qualifying, was Monday, and that night I was just like woke up, like my heart was racing, and there's a rock section like 2 miles in this year, and I was like, man, we don't have a chance, and luckily, we got through it and didn't have issues, and Corey kept me sane the whole time. And
what place did you guys end up? I think it was 8th or something, right?
4th in our class.
4th in your class, but you guys did good overall too, right?
19th overall.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's what it was. Okay. Dang, man.
Started 96th.
That's so good. Well, Dallas, if you do want to race KOH, there's some pretty good people sitting right next to me that can give you some advice.
No, I know it. I've never driven a side-by-side over a rock in my life, so really staying in my lane, like I really have no idea what I'm doing.
You'd be surprised. I mean, you don't have, like, it's a big deal. But you don't need a lot to do it. We bring a lot of people and we do a big
foot.
Yeah.
But honestly, you could take a pretty stock like X3 or something and go out there and just take it easy, and you would do well. It's I think that racer part of us that pushes us to want to do really well that usually wrecks us. But like Dallas has that, he's smooth like Corey, man.
He's coming back. He's trying to get back.
I don't know, man.
Your good races going.
Jason's always telling everybody to take it easy. SR1, go slow to go fast. I like to put both feet on the single accelerator pedal and just mash the gas. And so it's tough for me to, like, if there's a rock, I'd probably want to jump it. I don't think I'd be good at it.
We could talk KOH though for a long time, man, but we're going to try to get back in and kind of get a little bit more of an understanding of where the Wellers came from and what they're doing right now and where they're going to go. If you had to ask Jason and Corey one question, knowing what you know now, if you had to start over again, like if I was just starting my UTV career, what question would you have me ask them to be able to get on my way to go out there and race?
Oh, man. What tire pressure do I run on a Maxxis Theros on the front left corner? Yeah.
Was that the first question that you asked them?
Probably. It's funny when I remember going over to their pit when I first kind of, was in that first race or first year or whatever. And I was like, hey, Jason, blah, just vomited a bunch of stuff. And he was like, are you having fun? And I was like, no, I need to know what my tire pressure is. And he still says that to me, like the last race. He's like, are you having, I guess I carry myself as a pretty serious guy or whatever. And I'm like, yes, I'm pretty sure I'm having fun. Now back to the suspension anyway. So I don't know. I would say take it easy. Like if you're going to ask somebody, like, to take the racing easy if it's too serious. And Jason probably saw it in my eyes. If it's not fun, then what are you really doing here?
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was leading up. Is the question that I would probably ask them now, knowing what I know, is, what do you want me to get out of this? Like, that's like, what's the overall goal? Because when I first started, I had zero idea of what I was doing, similar to what you did, Dallas. I didn't know where I was going, how to drive around the track, nothing. Like, it was just like, throw yourself out there. Oh, look, Brock Hager joined us.
Hey.
Just to hang out. And
what's up, Brock?
The having fun portion of it and the understanding of how much work you're going to put in and all that stuff really has to come later. I mean, like, you just have to know that you're going to go out there and enjoy what you're doing.
And that's the key, truly, is you're spending this money, you're putting your body through potential harm, you're spending time away from your family, and if you're not having fun, don't do it anymore. Like, just don't do it.
Yeah.
And some people love it, and some people have a blast, and it's a passion, and some people it's just not their cup of tea, and they'll go find what is.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Dallas, you got anything else before you? Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say set realistic, expectations. When I started doing this, about the trailer and I said I'll get on there, and if I'm any good, we'll keep going, and if it's fun, we'll keep going. But if neither of those things are happening, it's just too much time away and money to waste at it, So, and it's expensive. Like, you wreck one of these things, I don't have to tell you how much they cost to fix them. So, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. But like you said, if you're having fun, go out there and enjoy yourself. All right. Well, we appreciate you calling in, man. I'm stoked to see what you do out there on what is it? Is it called the East Coast now? It's like kind of like the Midwest.
Midwest.
Midwest. Excited to see what you do out there in the Midwest, bud.
Champ Off-Road. Yeah. Hey, thanks. I appreciate it, guys. Good seeing all three of you, and we'll see you down the road.
All right, man. We'll see you later. Bye. Have a good one.
Peace. See you guys.
Dallas is a good dude, man. It really is that whole thing. Like, you can hear the energy in his voice when he starts talking about racing. Like, I didn't even know what else to ask him because I saw the excitement in the racing. You know what I mean? It's crazy. So I want to kind of get back to like the grassroots stuff and understand like where you guys came from, because Weller Racing is at a pretty good point right now, but you guys also want to go further in the future. So when you guys got into your first building, were you guys a little timid, understanding on how it was going to work and where the growth of the company was going to go, or were you guys just gung-ho, ready to do it?
I was like full on brakes.
Yeah.
He's like, let's go do this. Let's take risks. So
we're definitely opposite in that area. I'd say, I'm
Does that yin and yang work pretty good?
I mean,
it
obviously.
must.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
We're here. I mean, but yeah, I'm just with no risk, no reward,
Yeah.
and I'm willing to put that on. And I think a lot of business owners are. You got different options when you want to run a business, right? I didn't come from money. She didn't come from money. Just a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and just constantly setting goals and meeting those goals.
Yep.
and just the hard work. And I think that's what just drives you to keep you going.
Does the drive still stay the same this day and age? Like with both of you guys, are you guys still really gung ho at growing and keeping the business? I don't know what you want to call it, like at that fast same pace.
I'd say you definitely get to a point where you put in the work, right, and you know what you're worth, but then also you start just working smarter, right? So work smarter, not harder. That's I don't know when it happened, but I just like flipped a switch a couple years ago, and it's like the whole racing for fun. Like, I think we're both getting up there in age, and we've been doing it for a long time, but. There's lots of videos.
Easy with the age thing, dude.
Be gentle with those words.
More me than her.
Nice sound effects guy is killing it.
I'm big on YouTube, and there's a lot of videos, running your business lean.
Yep.
and just buying the inventory you need. And I think
he's not kidding about YouTube.
Well, no, one of my buddies, like his name is Alex Stryler, and he teaches me a lot about,
Alex,
And so Alex says, Google first, then YouTube. So if you ever have any question about anything, you don't even have to go to college these days. You can
University
YouTube it.
YouTube.
Like literally, I think to get successful, you got to learn the business side of it. You know, you could be working so hard and just digging yourself in a hole until you learn that business side of it. You know, I think if you're going to start a business, you got to start learning the business side of it. And it seems like lately we've been working less hard and getting more done and just working more efficient, you know, having your whole crew on the same page and moving forward, and you all have a goal, and you're not spending a ton of time and money over here when you're all going in this direction. So
the business side of it was something that came with time, like that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like the hustle comes first.
Yes,
the hard work comes first.
You got to put the time in for sure.
And then that has to continue. Hard work and hustle always has to continue. But then when you can understand that you can make it so that you don't have to work as hard, like what you're saying, Jason. And I've seen that evolution just over what you guys post on social media with getting special equipment and tools like scanners, a Haas machine, and things like that, where you can speed up these processes or not have to rely on somebody else to build these products and stuff like that. And I think that's where you're alleviating some of that stuff so you can work a little bit more on the business and help your customers more.
Yeah, I mean, it's blown up, the side-by-side industry, and we're a small shop relatively. So for us to keep up, you know, we get people all the time like, hey man, I want this for my car, and how far back are you guys on this? And it's so hard. Like you just want to get everything done. But we're only this shop, you know, and we only have our reach that we have. So how can you make that better? How can you see that through? You got to start working more efficient, you know, and you got to find better vendors. You know, our vendors that weren't replying to our emails and phone calls, we started pushing those guys away, and we're going to vendors. Hey, they want our business.
Right.
Or bringing it in-house.
They're calling me and saying, "How was it? Did we do a good job?" And those are the guys that we're going to, and we're able to expand our reach using good people, and everybody's on the same page, you know?
That's so cool to hear because, like, first of all, the best problem that you have is people asking you that question. If you didn't have people knocking on the door, then you wouldn't be going to look for these vendors. So I think it's fantastic that you guys are executing on that same level. But you guys also have goals in personal stuff, like, you know, you guys now have a house in the Ozarks or a condo in the Ozarks, and you guys are able to spend time and enjoy yourselves out there. So you guys are getting a lot of racings done still, like having fun. So there's a lot going on in your guys' lives. I mean, it's pretty cool for all of us to see and enjoy those same things with you.
Yeah, and that just kind of happened. Like it's just our lives are 100% racing, like 100%. So that's probably just happened maybe in the last year or so where there is a little bit more out there than just racing. And every once in a while, we're not good at slowing down. We are not good at not doing anything. So even when we bought that, we spent like 3 full weekends just revamping it and remodeling it in 22-hour days. Just
I would definitely put that. That's definitely in the happy wife, happy life category. Like Corey's like, hey, I want to do this. And
but look how much you're enjoying it now.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, so it's just a little bit of a branch out. But that was just recent, like that.
But it's cool to see you guys enjoying yourselves and being able to have that. I don't even want to call it downtime because Jason, you and I talked about it a little bit off air. But like, you still were thinking about work all the time, right? Yeah,
like she said. I mean, we have a huge community that our business and our racing and it's all we do. So it was kind of weird for us to get the condo and go to Lake of the Ozarks and nobody knows you, and it has nothing to do with anything we do, and it was almost like new for us at first,
you know. Different world.
Man, like what if we still went to the Lucas Oil Speedway out there, though? You guys would be dialed.
We almost went there. We're literally like an hour from there.
An hour from Wheaton.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You guys would have been dialed if we had that race on the series, right? We had a couple comments come in. Mitch Wise commented in. He actually bought my old Yamaha YXZ.
Oh, cool.
And he's out there racing it. He said, "Weller Racing has best customer service." And goes a long way for the business. Brock Hager said, best company out there. Actually,
thanks, Brock.
I don't know if anybody can see it, but Brock's with us tonight.
Yes.
He's right there.
Can you see him up there?
Brock's right up there.
He's in the back.
And Brock's a huge part of our racing program. You know, as far as like drivers out there, I would put him up with the best drivers out there. He can take our product and go anywhere and win.
Yeah.
You know?
He's actually doing a really good job. He actually did good at KOH, too.
He does good in anything.
Yeah, just get him out there with some steering wheel and he rips.
In his hand
I mean, we have good products, but he just like magnifies it. And makes it like
for sure.
Hey, isn't that what the sponsored athletes are for?
Yeah.
That's perfect, man. So, well, I'm glad that you guys are are able to see all that stuff. A lot of times when people get into a business situation, and I like talking about the off-road stuff because this is really true in the off-road stuff. They get so focused on either what they're passionate about that they can't see the forest through the trees, right? And then all of a sudden, they fall off or something happens. And I want everybody to succeed, to grow the industry, right? So knowing that you guys have the wherewithal to be able to see those things and to keep pushing through is really cool.
It's a big industry. I mean, everybody's got their places, right? And there's some overlap, but it's big enough for all of these shops to do well and treat their customers well, and everybody can have a good time,
Yeah, totally.
Dunes or desert or woods or wherever, yeah.
Yeah, and help each other. And that's kind of one of the questions that I wanted to ask and talk about was the growth of the side-by-side industry, because timing is one thing in business too, right? Like you had very good timing when the Yamaha YXZ came out, and now with the Can-Am X3, and you're able to produce products for those vehicles. You guys had basically built your own with the SR1, right? So the categories change, things change, the business changes on the way up, but where is it going next? Like, what is the path that you guys want to follow or push forward?
Yeah, I mean, the SR1, I know we talked about a lot, but it's a very small part of our business. It's definitely not like big money maker or anything for us. It's really just fun, and we like doing it. But as far as like the industry blowing up, you have the duners and the desert people, and everybody just loves to ride, and you could take your family up north and things like that. So we have our place. We've been racing with Can-Am for a few years now, and it's a great platform. And I think we're kind of changing our strategy a little bit in our business compared to what we used to, because there's so much competition and the market's getting more saturated. You really have to start protecting the parts you make. So
right.
Before we just come out with some parts and put them on the market, and now we're having to patent stuff and lawyers and stuff like that. So I'd say it's definitely getting more like that, but I think that goes hand in hand and expanding and growth and
yeah,
we're here for the long haul,
Yeah, and following the industry and the trends and everything like that.
I don't think side-by-sides are going anywhere either. I mean, it's just going to go up with the new Polaris,
everything. Yeah.
Just totally breaking through that barrier. I'm curious about the electric motor.
Yeah, those are super cool to see all
market.
That technology.
Yeah, so side-by-sides are just going to...
It's funny, though, because we thought these same things. Like, 5 years ago, we thought, oh, dude, it's blowing up. And now it's 10 times as big, and it's still getting bigger. Like, when I look back on it and think about those decisions, sitting here right now and knowing that, I thought it was that big back then, I feel like we're just at the beginning still.
Who knows? And it's really cool to talk to. One of the biggest things I liked about Can-Am is they welcome competition, and they get excited for seeing Polaris doing one up in it and seeing better vehicles and just bettering their vehicle. Everybody's got stuff there that motivates them, and they're excited to see it expand, and it's only better for all of us.
Yeah, 100%. It's that whole Ford versus Chevy, Apple versus Microsoft thing, right? You can't have the growth unless you have that level of competition.
Right. The competition's good for all of us, right?
Yeah. 100%. A couple of comments went through. I caught one from Anthony. He said that you guys were still shipping orders or having stuff happen when you guys were on vacation, so he really appreciated that. Brian, I didn't see what your comment was coming through. Trish Haugen, she also commented in, I love my race family, the most amazing people on the planet. All of you helped a young bashful kid, Chance, I'm assuming, or Chelsea, into a confident young man. Yep, Chance. I'm forever grateful. Thank you. So Chance is a good, confident young man now. I got to actually ride in a Polaris RZR Pro R with him at Texplex to do a sight lap. And I think it may be the first or second time that he drove one. And the skill set that he had compared to what I saw on the track the first time I saw him drive a side-by-side has elevated so much, man. Like she said, he's grown into such a good young man now. Yeah, thanks for that, Trish. I mean, yeah, they started young. And
I know.
He's full on Polaris and winning races, and it's a cool story to see for sure.
Yeah, and it's cool to see it, and you guys and us will always be proponents of all that, but it's cool to see that they understand how many people are affecting him.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys have raced short course for a while now. When did it actually start? When did you guys be okay, we're going to start racing? Because I know you guys were kind of dabbling in it with the Rhino, but when did it actually get going? Was it when the YXZ came out that you guys were all right, this is something that we're going to focus on, or did you guys have the ambition to continue with the SR1?
Vista.
Yeah, I mean, short course, we literally, the rhinos,
Chula Vista.
Corry raced them in like a stock rhino, and they had modified rhinos too.
The first time I knew I wanted to race short course was the first short course race we went to. It was Corry.
Yep.
It was at Chula Vista, and you were pit support for STHQ.
That track was so cool.
Everybody keeps telling me that, man. I'm so bummed that I missed out on that place.
I missed that track.
I'd never seen short course in real life. I'd only maybe caught it on TV once or twice, and we had actually just kind of built our car for desert racing because we thought we were going to go desert racing.
Okay.
And Jason was out there supporting a car that we were doing work on for STHQ, and they were racing. And I just remember I flew out there. I went to the track. I was standing there at the fence when the trucks were coming by the turn that had all the whoops in it, at turn 1 or whatever. And I just, it's like going to a concert and standing too close to the speakers and you can feel it in your chest.
100%, yeah.
And I had that, and I had dirt in my face, and I was in awe, and I was like, we have to do this. Like, however, we have to do this. And then the UTVs were racing. It was all rhinos at that time, and I was just like, this is way better than desert.
That is super cool. Yeah, plus you can watch it. That's the thing that interested me the most is you can see it.
Everybody can see all the cool shit you do.
Yeah, exactly. And enjoy the same fun that you're seeing, right?
Well, if you have a really bad day, you usually have 2 races.
Everybody's also seeing that
usually
too,
you can fix your car, and then the next day you can go at it again and hopefully have a better day.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of led me into this question, Corry. Thank you very much. What is better? Are the old tracks better, like the Corry days, or the tracks like nowadays, or maybe a couple years ago when we rode? Because like one of my favorite tracks still, people hated it, but I liked Elsinore.
Oh,
Elsinore's great.
I got to put the first laps on Elsinore.
Really?
Yep.
Look
First
at
one.
you.
Corey's been racing a long time.
In my Pro 4, because Carl Renazer was late that day, and it was going to be him. He was going to get to take the first laps on it, and I got to instead.
Calculated risk that Chula Vista was the bomb.
Chula Vista was cool. I think there's been some really good tracks even after. I love Wheeland.
Yeah, that was a cool track.
That track is probably one of my absolute favorite tracks. I also love Bark River. I think I tend to like the busy, longer tracks with more to it.
Right.
Elsinore was fantastic. That double step, that step up,
the Matterhorn
in the back.
Yeah, that was a cool one.
It was a blast. So
your X is cool too.
Your X is also
some
really
of those
awesome.
Midwest tracks I definitely want to check out too.
We're excited about that. Yeah.
So on that same level, like understanding where the industry is going and the tracks and all of these different things. I'm a huge proponent of short course. I love what Lee's doing and with the Great American Short Course. But if you guys had one suggestion to give the industry as a whole, like how to make short course better, what would it be? And it could be anything from, stock spec racing. So it's an entry level point. It could be trying to go to different tracks. It could be more laps, less laps. I mean, it could be anything. I mean, like, including 2 cautions, 1 less caution, whatever it is. I mean, just like any little thing that you think would make it so that it's a little bit better so that we could grow as a sport.
There's always better, but is it better for the racer or better for the fans? And those
That's a
two
good
things
point.
Are not always the same.
Yeah, they don't line up. That's a good
But
point.
you need the fans to have good races, and you need the racers for the fans. So that I think if we had the answer for what would make it better, it would be implemented, and you know what I mean. And short course would just blow up. But I think there's just always that struggle between what's better for who.
Well, how about this? I'll chime in. I think that there should be much better media coverage across the board for off-road. And I don't care whether it's desert racing, short course, seeing the stuff that the Mint 400 did last year, KOH is doing now. Those types of things are potential for everybody to grow, right? Obviously, these races are getting more TV coverage now, whether it's live streams or actual CBS sports and stuff like that. I think it would be fantastic if we could all join together, use our social media, do all of these things so that we could put this type of hobby or sport on the map for all of these, big broadcast organizations to come up and help us.
100%.
I think it's, the times have changed and it's just busy. Like everybody's got their stuff they do and everybody's got the areas, whether it's, stick and ball sports or whatever they got going on that weekend. So if you can attract, families via make it more of an event, make it more like stuff going on. make it a show for the people. You have short course racing, but you also have other stuff going on.
Yep.
And attract them out, attract the whole family, and then look forward to it for the whole year. Look at what Hammers is doing.
I saw people
I
saw people go out to the Pennywise and Sublime concerts that weren't even into the racing. They just went with their family because that was the catalyst for them to go out there. It's cool. Yeah. And Anthony said it should be for the fans. Well, I think it should be for everybody, like what Corry said. She brought up a very good point. But you actually pretty much answered this question already. Like, how do we get more fans? And you're saying just to have different stuff out there to be able to have them participate.
Entertainment, yeah. I mean, if you can combine a couple things and entertain while this is going on, it's an off-road short course race or whatever kind of race it is. But if you have stuff going on to where the kids can have fun and the family and the wife and it kind of appeal to everybody. Yep. If you can get that attraction, you're going against a lot of stuff. Like Phoenix, is our area. It's a big area. Like in a weekend, people could be doing all kinds of stuff. So I think if you can attract the whole family and have them looking forward to that, I think that would definitely help out.
I agree 100%. I think all of those are good suggestions, man. So if any of you guys have any ideas, also chime in too and let us know what you guys think. Almost like Supercross does. It would be sick. Yeah, well, Supercross does a good job, but you got to remember Supercross is small, but they're probably 40 to 50 times as big as any off-road event. Like, there's just that much more. So it's a little bit easier for them to execute. But if you guys do have good ideas, please DM us and let us know what you guys think as well. What would you guys do for fun outside of racing?
Racing's fun.
If all of a sudden there wasn't a place to race tomorrow, what are you guys going to go do?
I love like making parts and making vehicles faster and just a challenge, So definitely like engineering stuff and designing stuff and developing stuff I love that, and I think that's what makes our products what they are. But yeah, definitely I could do that, like a lot of stuff, probably like cars or airplanes or whatever, just as long as I'm making cool stuff, I'm happy.
Big creative guy right here. That's cool, though. I really respect that a lot, because that means that any product that you develop has the passion behind it to make it that much better. Like if it has a little edge to seal it better, or if it has the logo in a certain place.
It's got to be like high quality.
Yeah.
And it can be a few revisions. That's fine.
Everything chamfered.
A lot of trial and error, but it'll get there.
You always got to have the chamfers, and the bead rolls got to be perfect on the lids, right?
Yep.
It's
what about you?
Oh yeah. Hey, our sound expert over here, Jeff Angel, said that he would like some keychains. He would like some keychains. Yeah. I don't know how what is it, effective, or how much it would take to have a Haas machine make a keychain. It might be a little bit of a waste of time. Yeah, cost effective. That's what I was looking for.
Give us a couple good tunes and I'll make you one.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so we only have a couple more questions left. But what does the future have like for Weller right now? Do you guys have stuff that you're working on in the immediate future? And then what are some of the goals maybe in 5 years or so as the industry grows?
Yeah, racing is definitely, we've been out of short course for a little bit. We've been doing SR1, so we're excited to go race the Champ Series. And we have a full line of Can-Am products that we've been working on, but it takes a lot of time to develop and test and get them dialed. So I think, as far as the Can-Am stuff we've been working on, getting that up to speed and good enough to put our name on it and sell our customers to where they can bolt it on and things like that. So, and then, who knows in the future what else comes out, and what our customers need. It's cool because if you call Weller Racing, you're going to probably get a hold of Corry. If you call our main phone or our daughter Marley, and you guys can literally just, customers call and they say, hey, you guys should make this, or I'm having problems with this. And it's really just listening to our customers.
We do get a lot of ideas from our customers where we don't really know that there's a need for something until we get requests for it.
Yeah.
And I just talked to somebody the other day who was like, hey, are you guys making this at all? And I was like, no, not yet. And I'm like, why, you got a problem with that? And they're like, yeah, and all my buddies too. And that's kind of how it starts. So
that's the best way though, right?
100%.
Well, it's nice because if you get that product, you already have clients, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so, exactly. Yeah. And you know that it's going to work. Well, there's also business stuff that happens behind the scenes, and I was able to see it firsthand today. I'm coming in, disrupting and setting up the studio inside your guys' shop, but Marley didn't stop all day. She was shipping out so many orders, and then Corry's on the phone doing all of her stuff. You got to, do all your stuff. You were doing some engineering stuff in the back. It's just amazing to see how much actually comes out of what you guys are, all the hard work you guys are putting in.
we all live it. I mean, everybody here has the pride, and they love the brand and our goal, and they like to see it through too. And it excites them to put a part in a package and ship it out. And we get emails from customers, or that's
how many messages
racing.
did we get today that people were stoked, dude?
I'm
That's
so
awesome.
excited to go back and read all these, by the way.
That's the thing is like we go to races and we're dealing with our customers, and it's so cool just to be like, hey, I put your part on and it exceeded my expectations, or a bolted right up, or I love it and I want to buy more stuff, and I told my friends, and that's what keeps us going. I mean, that is 100% what keeps us going.
By the way, we get emails a lot from people who just want to say something really nice about the product, or they're really excited and stuff. And so I always make sure I share them with everybody. So if you guys email us cool stuff, like even if it's not, we'll share it, because I want everybody else to be able to see. Like, I get all the warm fuzzies, but I like to make sure. So it definitely.
Well, I heard that you have meetings on Mondays in we'll call it the boardroom.
Every Monday morning we have meetings.
Yeah, so that's when Corry gets out there and she just gives everybody all the good emails,
all the positive reinforcement.
Yep. What a good leader. All right, so we're going to get into the rapid fire Q&A in just a second here, but if you could have like one dream or one thing happen in the business right now, what would it be? Like, what would be the thing that somebody could do to help you guys execute to do that? Are you adding more machines? Are you adding more employees? Are you getting more time?
Wants a lathe.
Oh, really?
And he would take a bunch more of those.
Oh, the Haas machines?
Yeah.
If I had to say something about us, we're definitely not big spenders. Like, we know what it takes to do what we need. So I think, we could do a lot more and take a lot more risk and buy a lot more stuff. I'd say the next step is definitely, we rent this building and it's pretty maxed out. So I'd say we definitely want to buy a bigger building and have more room, and I think
give you guys a little bit of equity for your work too.
Yeah, but the market's just so crazy right now. So it's like, all right, we're just going to hunker down here for probably a couple more years. And it's crazy to see how much you can produce without that big building. You know? If you just work cleaner and work smarter and run a tight ship, you can actually get it done still.
I couldn't tell you how many leaders I've spoke with in the off-road industry and outside of the off-road industry that say the same thing. If you don't need it and you can figure out a different route, then don't touch it until it's a complete necessity.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I watch YouTube all the time, and it's like lean manufacturing, and it's literally like you're paying for every foot of your building, and if you're not using it to make money, then you're wasting money. So
you brought up a good thing when we were doing walking around the shop. You have the Haas machine makes scrap metal, right? Like, it has all of the
the shavings,
the shavings and stuff like that, and you're actually trying to figure out a way to reutilize, recycle, or maximize getting it money back on that.
Yeah, I mean, you see that, right? You're cutting all these chips. You're taking a block and you're cutting all these chips, and then you're sending them out for recycle. So it's like, okay, I bought like the little burner to melt them down and make blocks, and we can start messing with stuff like that, or even just save the blocks and recycle more at a time.
Right, or do like what Corry was saying, like rapid prototyping on the actual
keychains or whatever,
keychains. Oh, the sound engineer is going to be pumped on these keychains, dude.
I think that it's all that stuff that just
DJBME or DGBME says shop utilization.
Yeah. And once you start thinking that way and you start seeing your space and seeing what you have there, once you start cleaning that up, it makes sense, and you're paying for it, so use it.
Yeah, 100%. I love that you guys think like that, man, because that same thought process goes so far in life in general, man, because that's how you can run a race program efficiently. It's how you can drive across the country efficiently by looking for a good gas station. Like, that mentality goes so far, man. Yeah. It's pretty cool. All right, so we're going to get into rapid fire Q&A, and then we're going to let everybody know how they can get a hold of you. So I hope you guys didn't cheat and try to answer.
I think these are all for Corry.
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, good.
So what's the deal? What do we do? We both answer?
Yeah, we're going to let the ladies go first. So we're going to ask the question, and Corry's going to go first. All right, you ready for this rapid fire Q&A?
Do we both answer?
You got it. Well, it's not like a competition.
Okay.
But you got to answer in less than 5 seconds. Rapid fire Q&A. Question number 1: tacos or hot dogs?
Tacos.
Tacos.
Both tacos. Good answer, by the way. Chicken or asada?
Chicken.
Asada.
Asada is good, man. I do. You like? Yeah, I know. I like both too. Can we have like whenever you order fajitas, you get both, right? And always. Dunes or the river?
Dunes.
Dunes.
Both dunes, huh? Let's see here. Oh, action shots or still shots?
Action.
Action.
Like video. 3-wheeler or quad?
Quad.
Pizza rolls or jalapeno poppers?
Pizza rolls.
Yeah, pizza rolls.
And we always say this, even if it burns the shit out of the top of your mouth.
Yeah.
That's the best way to eat it.
It's always too fucking hot, man.
It has to be too hot.
Coffee or iced tea?
Coffee.
Both big coffee guys. Favorite movie? There's so many of them.
Shit.
Yeah, that's a tough one. If it comes on anytime, you'd watch it.
Like, are you guys going Step Brothers? Are you guys going like, because, okay, I'll give you my two first. Requiem for a Dream and A Beautiful Mind.
I've never heard of those.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
What comes on that we just watch whenever?
Twister.
Twister.
I literally just told Jason, anytime Twister's on, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. I mean,
are you a big Jurassic Park fan too? Because isn't that guy the same ones?
Oh, he is. He is in that, I think. Talladega Nights.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
I'm not a big fan, but definitely like Days of Thunder. I'd watch anytime it's on.
Your tires will hold.
let me out of the car, Cole.
He's used that on me before.
Yeah, Dallas said for sure pizza rolls too. All right, so we're gonna move on then. Let's see here. Oh, sketchiest moment of KOH.
Oh, that's easy. That's so easy. I have mine. Can I go?
Yeah, go.
Okay.
Hit us with it.
Fuck that hill. You know the one I'm talking about.
After Jackhammer.
I don't know any of them. Like, so the names of all the hills and stuff. Our sound engineer probably knows them because he saw them.
I named it Stairway to Hell.
After Jackhammer, there's like this hill that like drops off on both sides, and it's getting so dug out, and now there's like rock faces.
That's not the one where you like go off the rock and people tip over, right? It's like,
no, this is an uphill. It's like nobody sees this one. This is like
it's
the
like
worst,
no name, like
scariest
it's just
thing ever out there.
like
yeah.
a trail.
It goes along this ridgeline.
Super Troopers.
I think it's
1 and 2.
2 is really good. 2 is really good. I think it's that hill that Ultra 4 got helicoptered off. I think that's where it got helicoptered off.
Was that the gnarliest or sketchiest moment of your race then too, or you think it was somewhere else?
Well, we rolled on the passenger side, so I'd say
on the ground.
It ended up well, and we got it tipped over and back up in like 10 minutes, but it could have been a lot worse, you know.
Did you guys? So what's the move there? Does like if you roll over on that side, does she have to get out, or does somebody pull you over? Or?
All our pre-running, we rolled on my side.
So I was getting out.
So every time she got out, and I think in the race we finally rolled on her side, and she's like struggling over there. So I just jumped out, hooked up the winch, kind of took her job basically.
I was trying to get my I got stuck with my pumper hose and my little plug thing.
I think she was worried about getting smashed because I was on top of her. If I unhooked my seatbelts, I would fall and smash her. I think she was just like,
no. It's so crazy to me. Like, I still can't, like, my brain can't get wrapped around how gnarly KOH is. Okay, if you could have one superpower, what would it be? I mean, we're talking anything here. Any superpower.
I would love to fly. I know that's simple and basic, but that would be mine.
Yeah, I think that's a good one, honestly. Jason, what about you, man? If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
I mean, that's a good one for sure. Like, if you could fly, you could do a lot of stuff.
I know. So, like, there's so many people that have answered that question, like teleporting and all that stuff. Like, I think those are cool as well. But flying would be cool because it gives you that, like, I don't know, what is euphoric
freedom?
the right word? Yeah, the freedom, like, where it just you feel like you're just.
Plus, you can fly fast.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Big speed girl over here again. Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Oh, big YouTube guy. What are you watching on Netflix?
Just recently, I think the last thing I watched was season 4 of Ozark.
Oh, I was gonna say.
And it was amazing.
Did you guys watch the F1 documentary? I forgot, Driven or whatever it's called.
Well, funny story. That's what kind of got us into watching F1. Recently. Once you know the background of the drivers, and
that's a great series.
Yeah,
it is fantastic. That's coming out in March, by the way.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, though. Like,
We need that for short course.
Yeah, we need, and I talk to Lindsay Geyser about this all the time. I'm like, how do we make it cool? Like, how do we make this cool? And I think we're ready to break that like mold. We're like getting out there and doing it. Like the Mint 400 KOH is doing it, but I think that a lot of people.
What you're doing here, I mean, this is huge.
Yeah, I'd like to think that. Like I think it's really cool. Maybe not so much just sitting down and talking, but like understanding your guys' story. That wouldn't have happened. Like so. I'm really glad that you guys see that same thing. Oh, here's going to be a really good one for Corry. Your most memorable race.
Oh boy.
I mean, we're talking like this could be when you wore the kidney belt. This could be like the last KOH.
It could be ATVs.
Yeah, that's true. Should we limit it to side-by-side? Should we do just most memorable side-by-side race?
I was just going to say an ATV race, actually.
Were you? Okay, let it go.
I think I know that.
Let's hear it.
So probably one of my most memorable ones, I was Racetown 395, and I was racing, and I had to...
That track was awesome.
I had to jump the big step up in the back.
That thing was big.
To win. If I wasn't going to jump the step up, there's no way I was going to win that race. And that step up, I'd never done it before. I always kept trying. I kept looking at it. I kept testing it. And it never happened. And I wanted it. And I wanted to win that race. And I remember coming up to it. And I was just like, I'm going to hit it. And you just shut your brain off and you just do it.
Yeah.
And,
but you got to be full wood to be able to hit that.
I think it was wide open.
Fully committed. Yeah. And did it. And I just remember I was in the air for so long. And I was like, oh, I hope I landed. and did it, and it was sketchy, but it was smooth, and I just remember that feeling. It's just like,
yes,
okay, that's what it feels like to want it that bad.
Yep.
So that was very memorable to me because I've done stuff since then similar to that, and it's just that feeling you get every once in a while. It's just you just nut up and do it, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and those are really important, like milestones. Caden Danbury said that Netflix, the F1 is like his favorite show too. Yeah. So while you're thinking about your most memorable race, like I've told this story on the show before, but mine is a race when I was on 80s, an 80 expert at Glen Helen. And I crashed in the first turn, and by the end of the race, I was literally crossing the finish line only a tire behind the leader.
Oh, dang.
And I remember feeling the same types of things that Corry was feeling. Like I could almost I don't know what you want to say, do nothing wrong, because that sounds stupid. But like you were just on point, like your focus.
Like
it was like you couldn't get out of focus. You know what I mean? It was like so there.
That's what when I talk to Corry when she's needs some motivation, I try to get her in that zone.
Yeah, there you go.
Tries to make me mad. He thinks that's like
she drives really
thing.
Well. She's focused and
It's like you just say a certain word and it's like.
I know the words. Yeah.
All right, what's your most memorable race?
I had a ton of fun. Vegas to Reno, we did it a couple years ago. That's a cool race, and I think it doesn't people don't see like all the environment changes and all the you're going up mountains and through trees or you're going through the desert. It rained on us a little bit like in one spot, and it was really cool, and we had like a 2-truck pit crew.
It's almost like the weather and everything, like the seasons change.
Yeah.
It's like snowflake races, but long.
And our pit crews were like trying to keep up with us, and that was a really cool race. I definitely am going to do Vegas to Reno again sometime soon.
Does that mean you have to build a desert car, or are you just going to do like the rally class or something?
Yeah,
I would love to do the rally class.
Rally class is like one of my big favorite things.
I think that's great. The simpler, the more stock, the better. And
I mean, if I could just use the Hammers car, I would be totally happy.
I think Blurton did that at one of the best in the desert races.
He did,
yeah.
I don't see why you couldn't.
That's a really cool race, though.
The Vegas to Reno one.
Vegas to Reno,
I want to go.
I also like that race a lot.
I want to go help out a team at Vegas to Reno this year. I think it would be really cool. I've only participated in half of it, so like I'd like to see the whole thing, like what you guys are talking about. I mean, even to sit in a passenger seat would be cool. Favorite snack? Please don't say sandwiches. Okay, sandwiches have to be excluded.
Okay, so I've been really eating a lot of the flavored pistachios. There's like barbecue,
like the barbecue
pistachios.
And honey.
Yeah,
they have one. I forgot what it's like. Some sort of Asian one that Craig Scanlon always gives me, dude. Like they're addicting. Like in Mexico, I couldn't stop eating them.
Yeah, I love those things lately.
What's your favorite snack, Jason?
She gets these like chocolate blueberry things from Costco, and I kind of have to like. She has like these little Ziploc bags, so I like just put a couple in. It's like a 5-year-old's little Ziploc bag.
You have to limit him.
And so
the little
No, I limit myself.
Oh, okay.
But like in the morning, I'll just put some in there, and like gets me through the day. But it's nice because it's the right amount of chocolate and.
So does Jason have a big sweet tooth? Is that what he's saying?
He's a stress eater. And he loves sweets. Yep.
But you guys do actually do a lot of working out, though, too, right?
I haven't been lately.
No?
Yeah, he's been
Busy
sick.
guy?
He's been sick, yeah. But yeah, no, CrossFit. We do CrossFit every morning, pretty much that we're here in town.
It's fun.
Are you guys two-wheel fans, too? Supercross or motocross?
Supercross.
Motocross.
Motocross? You like the gnarly, like, get out there and, what about, like, I guess this is actually a really good question for you guys. Desert or short course? You have to pick one.
Short course.
Yeah.
You both picking short course. I'm just a big fan of short course, and I think my favorite thing about the short course, not that I dislike desert at all, like I love it, but is that you can watch the whole thing. Everybody can see you, and like what Corry said, she was kind of making a joke about it. Everybody can see what you're doing. Like I like that aspect for being a fan and being in the seat.
Yeah.
Plus, it's that close battle too. Like
it's MMA with four wheels.
But it is. It's like a modern day gladiator arena, but with machines. You know, you're in a vehicle instead of just duking it out by fists. So I love the battle part of it.
It's super intense. Short time, but it's super intense. You know, you're shaking on the starting line, and you're going to turn one, and you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, I mean, I'd say the intensity. This is.
Yeah, and the jumps, like our audio technician just shared with us as well.
Sure.
Let's see here. What other form of racing would you like to try? We talked about F1, but I'd like to preface this by saying, like I do every show, it could be speedboat racing, it could be those little swamp boats, it could be monster trucks, any type of racing. It could even be soapbox racing. Any type of racing.
I would love to do like F4.
What's that?
It's like the more entry level version of F1.
But it's still like fully teched out, carbon fiber, all that stuff.
It's road racing. I think that's cool. Like I road raced a Freightliner. That's the only time I've ever road raced anything. But I loved it. I loved the pavement part of it because the pavement doesn't change, your tires change.
Right.
The atmosphere changes, but your pavement always stays the same. So every lap you can just fine tune it. Tweak it just a little bit more and chase somebody down, and so I think like F4, F2, any of that stuff would be really fun. I would jump at a chance to get in a
that'd be super cool.
Like
what about you, Jason?
I definitely like. Does it have to be totally different, or can it just be like Pro 2?
It could be anything.
I want to race Pro 2.
Yeah, that would be. That's another like hence the SR1. That's like the driver's class, right? The Pro 2s. I think I always think I want to race DTM or rally cars. Like I think that would be so cool. Rally, like those guys, I feel like they don't get enough. Accolades for how precise they are in such terrifying conditions.
Right.
Well, and a huge plug to Nitro Rallycross because they're taking the rally cars on our short course tracks, which is amazing to see. So those guys
are some gnarly tracks.
Yeah, how do they not hurt they need a kidney belt. Those guys. Don Haugen also commented in again, said the Welders are synonymous for UTV racing. Can you imagine what the sport would be like if they hadn't both had the passion to work it? And that's kind of what I was saying before, Don, is like I don't know, like the OG stuff. I don't know if you guys take that as a compliment or not, but like the OG stuff has really laid the groundwork for what we have today. So you guys are in it so often and so much that I don't think that you guys really respect yourselves enough for what you've given back to us.
I definitely don't think we could take credit for that. But I mean, there's
being a piece of it though. That's pretty good, dude.
We're definitely a part of it. But I mean, there's some big hitters like Joey D, like what he did with UTV Underground,
right?
RJ.
I almost feel like we there's, you know what I mean? Like I feel like there's other OGs. Like we're not the OGs. Yeah. We got into it because of the other OGs.
And I always tell, those guys, and I always tell James Hill, the People's Champ. I always tell him in IMG, like he was an OG too. Yeah. And those are the types of things that I see. And now, like the younger kids coming up, like they don't even know who we are. You know what I mean? Like, so their OGs are guys like Seth Quintero. Like, you know what I mean? So
look at like Funko, like Chad George. Like,
those guys. Yeah,
that was
Ryan B. Those. Yeah.
I mean, look at all the guys. I mean, there's a huge group there that made it happen. I mean, we're just suckers to still be in it.
We saw how much fun they were having and wanted to get in on that.
Yeah, I know. But actually, we got a cool question that just came in. Fullthrottle.ao says, "What's your favorite car to run on the short course track?" Or he said short track, but
I'm really excited to go race Champ in the X3. Like that's for for me, I've always had to, run the business and take a step back. And I'm really excited to take that 4-wheel drive X3 to champ. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that'll be cool. The speeds over there are crazy, right, Corey?
Yeah, because the tracks are so much longer.
Yeah.
You get such a great run on some, like coming down the hill at Bark River into the cemetery turn. That's a pretty high.
I was looking at some of the lap times, and they were almost pro light, like fast. They were really, really fast. And I think some of the guys, even like in the top level, I don't know if it was the race I watched. I don't even know if you were there, but like let's just say you, Cheney, the fast guys were top 5 in the pro light class.
And they'll creep into Pro 2 times. It just depends on what track it's at. Some tracks cater more to a bigger, higher horsepower, heavier vehicle, and some tracks cater more towards a lighter 4-wheel drive like ours. And yeah, I mean the times are very close.
I mean 205 horsepower stock.
That's
4-wheel
crazy.
drive, like those are some powerful cars.
I know I've had this conversation with you guys at the races, and like I love 2-wheel drive. Like I've always loved 2-wheel drive my whole life. Rear-wheel drive is like my favorite. But yeah, exactly. But the and I've told everybody this is like the production side by sides with 4-wheel drive. It's like cheating. It is so much fun. And so, like, I don't know, cheating at the same time.
Well, like just going through whoops in a 2-wheel drive is such a different challenge than going through it in a 4-wheel drive. In a 2-wheel drive, you start, there's no correcting. It's just all throttle, whereas the 4-wheel drive, at least you have those front tires to kind of pull you straight.
Yeah, and you can move it around a little bit.
Out of a corner, the exit in the corner, same thing,
That's probably what you're talking about taking the X3 out there. Just getting, dude, that'd be so much fun.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so Jeff said, are you both running an X3 in short course this year?
Yeah.
We will be competing against each other at Champ, yes.
So that's what we were talking about with the spotters. Who's going to be your spotter then? Dallas?
No, Nick Petrick is probably going to be my spotter, hopefully.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if I've asked him yet, but...
he was watching earlier, so Nick, hey, news to you, buddy. You're going to be a spotter this year.
Hey, Tim, Nick
but that's
are
a
like
big deal for us.
Our crew at the
we
races.
spot for each other. Like that's we're used to we're a team that way. Like we mesh that way. We know all the right things, So having somebody else spot is a different
totally different.
It's a different challenge for both of us. So that adds a whole new element that most people don't think of is we don't have our normal spotters.
I can't even believe that you guys can spot for each other because like when I was having my girlfriend at the time, Shayna, when she was spotting for me like at Lake Elsinore, she did one race. And she was yelling and screaming the whole time because she was so scared. She didn't even help me at all. I was like, "You're fired, big time. Like, we can't do it."
There's definitely a learning experience.
It's definitely been. I've gotten much better.
It'd be funny to like video like the first starting point to like pros, or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Do you guys have to like when you're up there with doing the spotting? Do you have to like take emotion out of the situation, or like how is it like? How can you actually communicate at that level?
So I don't get really excited. For me, like when I spot for him, I keep it pretty even keel and it's just facts. Like, hey, what does he need to know? Yep. This, and it just keeps it very even keel.
Keep
and
like
just,
all emotion out of it.
Just information coming. Just information. That's all he needs. And he's really good about that. I've definitely had to work at it over the years. I tend to be a lot more, I don't know. I don't want to say emotional, but more animated.
Yeah.
What helped us a lot is NASCAR. They do a lot of online or a lot of like
YouTube
spotter like.
When you watch them on TV, they have all the spotter radio chatter, right? So you can listen to how they. So we actually started. Like I would start calling like, okay, clear by 1, clear by 2, clear by 3.
Right.
Used to be like green. Now it's you watch NASCAR and they're like green flag.
Yeah. So we're just very even keel and quiet and
chilling to the point.
Calm,
That's cool. So there is an evolution to it, right?
Sure.
Josh from Cryo Heat, we hope you feel better. Josh, he gave us the hang loose sign. Josh just had some neck surgery, so we want him to get better and wish him well.
For
sure. Here's a good one. Who is your guys' celebrity crush?
Oh, boy.
Oh, I have several.
Several? Okay, you got to pick one. Who's your favorite out of the several?
One.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you should make him go first. I have to think on it.
A celebrity crush.
Yeah, it has to be a good one, though, too. It's really hard for the kids to answer this question. They always get super embarrassed.
Chris Hemsworth.
Who is that? I don't know who that is. Oh, that's the Batman guy?
No,
Thor. He must have like abs and stuff. Like
and an accent.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen that guy.
If you take the opposite of me, that's him.
His whole family's good looking. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep.
All right. Well, she laid down the foundation. Jason, who are you going with then?
Oh man, I mean, I don't know. Like Like if I like watching a movie and seeing a certain female, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, it's got to be a celebrity crush. Please don't tell me it's a guy.
Cameron Diaz, probably.
Oh, yeah, he loves Cameron Diaz.
Yeah.
Oh, really? It could be Cameron Diaz?
I like Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Like she's pretty funny.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Funny girls.
Oh, okay. Mila Kunis? Is that who it was?
I think he likes her too.
I mean, she's pretty hot for sure. Yeah.
Oh, Jason's well-rounded in his celebrity crushes.
3, though.
No, wait a minute.
All right, man.
Don't make me choose.
We got the final question of the night, and I already know what you guys are going to answer with this. Chips and guacamole or French fries and ranch?
Chips and guac.
guacamole.
Yeah, both of you guys. I did see a Mexico trophy in there. I'm really jealous of that one. I like that trophy.
Sugar Skull.
We both got trophies that weekend.
Yeah, and I got some the year before.
And
Look at you guys. Oh, one up to you.
Us and Hager all got trophies.
Oh,
that weekend.
dang, really?
Yeah.
Well, the racing had a good weekend.
Yeah.
Did. Yep.
Jeff's hired, man.
He needs to travel with you.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if he could take that much time off of work, but he's totally hired.
He's there.
Well, thank you very much for having us, man. We really appreciate it. I think to close out the show, I think you should probably thank some of the people that work with you, some of the people that are partners with you, and then tell them how to get in contact.
Yeah, our group here, it's pretty small if you look at our reach and the products we make, but definitely like Kyle's up front. When we're at the races, he's here running the show and keeping it all together, and he's usually here first and last to leave, and he is definitely, we wouldn't be here without him for sure. And we got the Fab guys, Bubba and Chris and Rico and Tim, and Tim's dad Fred does all our assembly stuff, and he had some hand surgery the first of the year. So Corry up front.
James is our service manager.
Yep.
So he takes care of the customers while we're gone and even when we're here. And Marley does the shipping. And we have such a good team here that allows us to be able to go and do the races. And it used to be that we were always worried about what was happening here, stressed out about it. But because we have such a good crew, we don't worry so much. We can go out and actually focus on what we're doing, and we know that things are being handled here, and they're handled the way that we would handle them.
A lot of businesses would love to hear that about their own business.
Huge.
Yeah, our customers are great. Like they keep us motivated, they keep us going, and our fans on our social medias. We could have a bad weekend, and it's just so cool just to see all those comments and like keeps our heads up. So you guys have no idea how much you guys motivate us to keep going and doing this stuff. So when you ask like why we do it and what motivates us and stuff, I mean, it's a huge part of our fans and our customers and stuff too.
Can-Am.
Yeah.
Can-Am. And Can-Am. They became a part of my racing. Probably this is my 5th year with them already. That's crazy to me.
Hey, it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, this is my 5th year racing.
That's awesome.
I know. And Jason, what, 3rd?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're a huge part of it. We have really good sponsors that have been with us for a long, long time. Sparco's been, one of my first sponsors. They've been with us for a long time too.
That's why you always get the cool outfits.
Yep.
Warren is the man. Yeah. So all of our companies.
Little secret, I was always jealous standing on the podium next to you and Dustin. I was like, motherfucker, why do I gotta have this stupid ass black outfit on?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sparco's been around for a long time since almost the beginning.
Do they give you the ability to like design it by yourself? Like you can pick out all your colors and stuff?
Yeah. I usually send. I just ask them for like a blank suit rendering, and then I just draw up how I want it and send it to them. And
dang.
Yeah, then they'll tweak it, and we get to do logos, and bam, there it goes. Yeah, so it's a really neat process.
I only VIP race anymore, and I still want to do that because it sounds so cool. I would love to customize an outfit.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Also, like Lucas Oil, with the thing they did with Short Course and building that series when there wasn't one, and that's a great company.
Yeah,
and we use all their oils here too. I know probably conflicts with your sponsors, but
no, that's okay.
As far as Short Course goes, those guys spend a ton of money and a ton of time, and they love it. And Forrest Lucas, huge shout out to him, for doing everything he did for us. And we wouldn't have been able to do all this stuff without them. So
we wouldn't even have a place to race.
12 years of that series, they put in 12 years. So
huge shout out to those guys.
I never got to race a full series, man. I'm still bummed about that. I'm bummed on that you had cooler outfits than me, and I'm bummed that I didn't get to race the whole series. But it was really cool, just being able to have the opportunity to race. So, all right, yeah. And so your social media is, you guys both have personal social medias. It's Corry Weller. Is it all one word?
Yeah. Just Corry Weller is my Instagram, and Corry Weller Off-Road Racer is my Facebook page.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So.
Yeah, Jason Weller.
And then obviously Weller Racing if people want to hit you up for some parts or business and stuff like that. So what's next on the schedule then? When's the next actual race?
It'll be gas.
Yeah, it'll be Great American Short Course. Yeah, it'll be the one in Victorville. I think he said
April.
I'm gonna go check the schedule because I want to be right. I want to have it in front of me too. So
yeah,
that'll be cool, man. What about onesie for around the house? What is that, audio guy? Oh, make a onesie for around the house for Sparko? I don't know if Sparko's in the market for
like
that.
A footy PJs that look like a race suit.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, you guys can always hit up the sponsor deals page on dirtlifeshow.com and get discounts, man. We mentioned a few of them at the beginning of the show, but go over there and check it out because that page is there for you guys. You guys can actually learn how to talk to our buddy Alex Streiler there as well. He has a new sponsorship program called Meet the Sponsors. Teaches you all the good stuff to be able to go out and approach sponsors like some of the partners that Wellers have as well, and you can go out there and get some help for your racing program. We have a special show next week. We were talking about numbers today. So the show today is number 118, which is 18, I think is what you said Corey's number is, right?
Well, my number is 1 now, so 1 and 18.
Oh,
there you
18
go.
was my Pro 4 race number. So.
There you go. So that matches up a little bit. And so next week's show, we're going to have somebody interview me.
Nice.
For episode number 119. And the significance behind that is when I got hurt in 2019, which was number 19. I was number 119. I've always been number 19 my whole life. So 19 has all of these different crazy things that happen to me. It's like one of those things like, do you believe in numbers? It's like, no, but yes, like you have to when stuff like that happens. So it'll be interesting. My old co-host Casey Peck is going to come up to California and he's going to interview me and we're going to have a good time. So it'll be pretty cool. We're going to have a bunch of special guests calling in. So I think there'll be a lot to learn on that show. I'm going to make it kind of boring for some of the off-road people because we're going to dip into more of what I think is a good way to live life and be happy in off-road and doing all these different things. So I think it'll be a cool little episode. I definitely want to thank you and all of the people at the shop for allowing us to come in and disturb the workflow. It was really cool to be here, and I had a great time with you guys today. Thank you for lunch as well, Jason.
Yeah, and don't forget tomorrow is 2/22.
Yeah, 2/22/22.
So go get some tacos.
Oh.
Yeah, I heard it's going to be like this most epic taco day.
Great.
So yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, so we really appreciate you guys, all the guys in the shop, everybody for helping out today. It was really cool. I'm glad that we got to come in and see the stuff that you guys have going on. I definitely think that you guys should come down to Weller Racing. That's so awesome to be able to be a part of this and to know that you guys started in Arizona. You're still keeping your roots. It's really cool. Another fun thing that we're going to have is Corey and Jason actually helped do a shop tour today. So we're going to release that in the next month or so here. So you guys will be able to go around. If you guys can't make it to the shop, if you're in a different state, you guys will be able to see what they're doing behind the scenes. And we're going to release that on Jason's favorite channel, YouTube. So you guys can check it out there. So we'll show you guys out that, and we'll have them posted on their social media as well when it comes out. Thank you, everybody, for watching the show. You guys did a really, really good job participating with us today. And feel free to send these guys a message at Weller Racing on Instagram. So we really appreciate it. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thank you very much to our audio technician, Jeff Angel, over here. We really appreciate it, bud. The sound bites were off the chain tonight. And again, thank you, Jason and Corey. We really appreciate it. You guys did an awesome job.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Appreciate it, bud. All right, we will see you guys next week. Good night.
Thanks for listening to The Dirt Life Show. See you next week.